welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. Matt, we're back again from our little holiday hiatus. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling recharged. I'm feeling vivacious. I'm feeling, honestly, I'm feeling locked down again because 2022 apparently is just, a rerun of 2021, and I feel we're back exactly where we were this time last year.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah, but you know what? At least I get to share it with you and everyone in the chat. We got a whole shit ton of news here to cover from the time we've been away. Matt has once again updated our little UI overlay here. And it looks shiny and nice, Matt. Good job.
It looks very new, doesn't it?
It looks very nice. We're in the space age now, 2022. It really does sound like a sci-fi dystopia, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's fitting, yeah.
It's very much so. So, how was your time off, Matt? How did you spend your holiday?
It was pretty good. I spent most of my holiday and most of my time off from this show sick.
Oh, no, that sucks. Now,
yeah.
Again, he didn't get the big one.
No, I didn't get the Rona, no. No, I just got, like, a really bad, like chest infection, cold, and I couldn't talk for a long time. For, like, 2 weeks. It was very hard for me to talk, but I'm starting to get better now. I've still got a cough, so every now and then I might mute my mic to cough, like I have a smoker's cough. But it's a lot better than it was, even just like 3 or 4 days ago.
I could hear it before we started there, that little, like, I'm not quite as sick as I was, but I've clearly damaged my vocal cords.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, you really don't think about this line of work that you and I are in, how much we really need our voices and how our voices really are our instruments, and how even when we do get sick, we gotta work sick at this thing.
Yeah, pretty. I took a couple of days off there because I could not talk at all. So I ended up doing a lot of Let's Play stuff, just uploading shit to my channel. But yeah, no, it was actually kind of good because it allowed me to like sort of start because I could still write reviews and stuff. It allowed me to like bank all of them, and so I can just like get them done once I'm like fully recovered.
Right. I slept in a bit, which I love to do, and I've ended up really messing up my sleep. Now I'm like staying up to like 5 a.m. and sleeping until 2, and I'm like, well, that's not good for anyone.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
But it's like, hey, I don't have the one appointment I have to keep anymore, so nothing fucking matters anymore. Can't go anywhere, can't do anything. What is time? What is a day? It doesn't matter.
Yep.
I work from home. It doesn't fucking matter. I'll try TikTok because, I need something else to lose myself into. Oh, yeah, Cape Joel has a TikTok now, everyone, if you're interested.
I've been dabbling with the idea of getting one as well.
We were talking about this before we started. We just got to take the best segments from this and upload it in 3-minute chunks. The problem with that is, I don't know about you, Matt, but I'm a little long-winded sometimes, so the idea of paring myself down to only 3 minutes.
It's very hard.
It is, and like
because we're on that YouTube mindset of okay, we got to get to 10 minutes. We got to do 10 minutes.
Got to stretch it out. Any good content needs to be stretched out.
Yeah.
Hats off to the people who can do it. There's a guy there who does comic videos. You've probably seen him. He's a young black guy. He's really animated and everything, and he gets a lot done in 3 minutes, and I really respect his work. And I'm like, damn, I wish I could do it like him. And he's got like all these like, transitions and smash cuts and everything. And I'm like, damn, so apparently if you put in the time, you can make something really cool out of this.
You can, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm old, though. Never has anything made me feel more old. Also, if I see that emotional damage guy one more time.
Don't you like that meme?
Oh, yeah. I liked it the first 20 times I saw it. I wonder how the fuck does that guy feel? Because on one hand, you're a meme and everywhere and you'll never be more famous. But on the other hand, eventually you'll grow to hate your own work, right?
Yeah.
I can say that I have never been so popular that I grew to hate my own work. But there's time, that's the thing. That's on my vision board for 2022. Get so popular, I hate my own work.
You hate yourself and your work, yeah.
I hate myself and my work. Oh my God, what am I even doing anymore? Watched a lot of TV while we were off there. I was telling you, I'm like 2.5 seasons into Succession right now. I finally caught the Succession bug.
Yeah, it took me a little bit to get into it, but but once I like found like the how it works, how the show works, I like binged all 3 seasons in like a week.
It's rich people being very mean to one another.
And the best thing is as well is it's a comedy.
Yes.
But none of the characters play it as a comedy because nothing to them is funny, but it's funny to us because we're not fucking rich assholes.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a very interesting headspace that the show exists in because they're all jaded, emotionally stunted assholes who are just like sniping at each other and like tearing pieces out of each other, and they're like a dysfunctional family. And Brian Cox is great in it. This is his like Walter White TV show moment.
Yeah, he's fantastic in it.
Yeah, look how good an actor. What blows me away is that show is produced by Adam McKay and Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I know. They directed... well, I know Adam McKay directed at least the first 1 or 2 episodes of it, yeah.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, Adam McKay is a guy who like dips his toes into political commentary. And then I saw on like Netflix this week, The Campaign with Will Ferrell was on. I'm like, oh yeah, and Brian Cox is in that too for a minute. So this is what it's all been leading to. I find it funny that HBO has that and Righteous Gemstones on back to back because they're both shows about like rich dysfunctional families.
Yeah, yeah.
But the Gemstones are like actually more likable than the Roys because
there is a likability to them. Yeah.
Like the Gemstones actually love each other. You kind of get that feeling, and like they learn lessons at the end.
And they have emotions.
Yeah, they actually have emotions where they're basically all cold robotic monsters.
Yeah.
But that's what's so fun about it. If anything, it's a show that demystifies like the dream of wealth, where it's like, oh yeah, if you're rich, your life would be great. Nah, if you were rich and rich your whole life, you would basically be a goddamn mental patient.
Yeah.
I think there was like a study there where it's like, once you start making enough money that you like don't have to do your own shopping anymore, that's when you start like getting depressed and going crazy because you're not really a real person anymore.
Yeah, you're just a husk of a human being.
Yeah, you don't do like the regular stuff that like connects you to humanity. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a whole show about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got a ton of news saved up from our time away there. So if some of these are old, just know that we've been collecting them for like the last 2 weeks so we could have this big 260th episode and tell you all about it.
Yeah, we got a big show.
We sure, big show, very big show, big shoe for everybody. So I guess we'll start with some of the newer stuff right now. And this one surprised the hell out of me. I'm sure you read the same story I did. But Warner Brothers and Viacom are batting around the idea of selling the CW, home to the whole DC CW universe.
Yeah, now obviously this doesn't mean none of the shows stop. It just means that WB... No, they probably would stay on the show. They just have different contracts.
Right,
It just wouldn't be WB owning the channel.
And they might call it something else because the CW wasn't always the CW.
No, it used to be WB.
Used to be WB, but yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty right now about the future of these shows because basically the idea that was floating around in the article is that the CW hasn't been profitable for a very long time.
Very long time, yeah.
And because obviously Viacom owns the parent company now, it's trying to make some cuts as they do trim the fat. And yeah, now it's out there for the world to see that, oh, this channel hasn't actually been making that much money, yet meanwhile it had like 15 seasons of Supernatural.
Yeah.
Which is shocking. And again, you want to talk about big business and big money and everything. Wait, so you mean that I can have a whole station for like a couple decades to not turn a profit and it's still on TV just because?
Just cause, yeah.
Again, let that, shut up anyone who thinks we live in a meritocracy or anything and that stuff just doesn't happen because. You gotta figure, too, that this is worrisome for, like, the people who are making and who are on that Naomi show, because it's like, hey, everyone, it's the brand new CW thing, get excited for it and everything, but also, the network might be sold for parts at some point.
Well, again, like I said, like, these shows, they could still continue on whatever the CW comes. All it means is, like, contracts would change. Instead of, like, in the contract it says, own a company, Warner Brothers, it'll say, like, something else, own a company, whoever buys
Amazon.
Yeah, whoever fucking buys it. Disney.
the Bezos company. Just Jeff Bezos himself there. Yeah, it's crazy to think that, these shows have been on as long as they have and that, the CW has managed to create this, viable DC universe all their own, basically out of scraps from other stuff, and you wonder that even if this wasn't the case, surely there would come a time when HBO Max or the powers that be would want to fold them in to whatever streaming television looks like in the future, because it's almost kind of weird to watch, like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch the new Lois and Clark on regular television. And the fact that they are their own universe and they are kind of their own thing over here and they're left alone, it's very interesting.
It is, yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure CW has other shows too, but obviously this only relates to us because of the whole superhero content.
No, this is all they have. This and that fucking Riverdale show.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Riverdale show, which is also about the multiverse.
Oh, is that where they've gotten? I know. What is it that show went fucking insane at a point?
Well, the last I saw it had something to do with like World War II, and like Sabrina the Teenage Witch was involved, and
okay, which makes a weird amount of sense. But is it the same Sabrina the Teenage Witch from the Sabrina show on Netflix, or
yes.
is that a totally different
No, it's
thing?
the same one. It's the same one.
Okay. I respect them for doing that, because people forget that Sabrina the Teenage Witch actually got her start in Archie Comics. She was the hot goth girl.
Yeah, I think there was also a story where like Archie Comics existed in the show, and it was written by the like Archie characters, and it's just fucking insane whatever that show has become.
I'm looking at all the shows they seem to have now. Walker, which I'm guessing is that like the remake of Walker,
yes.
Texas Ranger?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I don't see anyone talking about that. The 100 ended in 2020, so that's done.
Yeah.
I know people were really into that for a bit. That show Kung Fu, which totally looks like they looked over at the other network and they're like, hey, this other, Bruce Lee type show looks popular. Can we just do that? Warrior?
I think it's a remake of a show called Kung Fu. I think it was the one.
Carradine show?
The David Carradine show. I think it's a remake of that.
No shit. Yeah, I wondered why they haven't remade that one yet. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, they made it less racist.
A little bit. Yeah, you go back and watch some of those. Especially Kung Fu The Legend Continues, when they're like, fuck it, just take Kwai Chan Caine and move him to New York.
Yeah, and
say
he's
that
just
his
police
long-lost son is a
mysteries.
cop.
Yeah.
That show is fucking... Like, it's bad, but it's the best kind of bad. I love old-ass David Carradine beating guys by moving very slowly. Oh, yeah, they got that new Legend of the Hidden Temple show, too, don't they? Wasn't that CW?
Oh, really?
I think so. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just imagining things. I'm looking at all the show. Okay, now these are just old shows they've had. So, yeah, doesn't sound like they have much going on the CW. Yeah, superhero shows and Riverdale looks to be about it.
Pretty much, yeah. Reruns, probably some other stuff as well.
So yeah, I wonder. I really wonder. But yeah, there's the news about that, everyone. Don't be shocked if the network ends up changing hands. But hey, it was other stuff before, because it was the WB before it was the CW.
And shows like Smallville and all that survived that.
Yeah, true enough. So there's like good precedent for it all. That these shows won't be going away, which is, good, because I'm excited for more Lois and Clark.
Exactly, that starts back in 2 days.
Oh, holy shit.
If you're watching this not live, then it's already back.
Right, oh yeah, that's right, because this show goes up on Wednesday. I'm excited for that. Legends has been pretty good.
Oh, is that back?
Yes. Yeah, Legends continues
way
to be
too
funny.
behind on that show.
That's how I feel about Flash right now. It's like, well, I'm too behind now to catch up.
Oh, it was like, oh, these Armageddon episodes are pretty good. They shit the bed at the end there. Oh, they're bringing back the fucking kids again. God damn it. You had it there, and you fucking ruined it.
That's a bigger question or a bigger conversation we'll have to have about the CW shows, and that's like, some of these don't need to keep going. Like, I think The Flash probably could have ended now.
Well, I have to imagine most of these will probably be ending very soon. Like, I have to imagine, Flash will be ending soon. Maybe Batwoman will be ending shortly. I'm not too sure how that show's doing. Superman and Lois is probably their biggest show, and that's probably going to stick around for a while.
Stargirl, of course, another one they still got going.
Yeah, that's got season 3 coming up.
Which I like. Mr. Bones!
Yes, Mr. Bones.
Voiced
No one
Keith
talks
David.
about that when that happened. That's
No,
fucking
I know.
Mr.
I'm like,
Bones.
I know, you and I were both like, what the fuck is wrong with you all, comic book, universe online? You're not talking about Mr. Bones? What, are you too good for Mr. Bones? Philistines. Eric Stanley helping us out. Happy New Year's, guys. Do you have takes on Hickman's interview with Jay and Miles about the purpose of his Act 1 and what was cut out of Act 1? Oh, I had no idea Hickman even did interviews. I know Jay and Miles are that big popular X-Men podcast.
Yeah, no, I didn't know he did interviews either.
Yeah, a podcast. You mean we could have had Hickman? We could have been talking to Hickman this whole time and picking his brain? Well, again, I know Jay and Miles is like maybe one of the most successful podcasts, and they only talk about X-Men. So, but don't worry, we'll be talking about Inferno and everything else later on in the show. I know Matt and I have lots of takes and ideas, I'm sure.
Yes.
Now, moving on from there to some more TV news, but on the opposite end of the spectrum, HBO Max there, Ed Brubaker was announced this week to be joining the creative team of Batman Caped Crusader, and I was really surprised by this.
I was surprised and even more excited for this show now.
Absolutely. Of course, Batman Caped Crusader is the big, hotly anticipated new Batman animated show from Bruce Timm, and also J.J. Abrams, and also Matt Reeves are going to be there helping out as, executive producers.
Yeah, they're all involved somehow in this.
Somehow, which was kind of worrying, because it's like, oh, I like all those guys individually, but together that sounds like a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
It certainly does. It certainly does.
But honestly, the way they were kind of making it sound in the articles is that Brubaker is going to be basically the guy who's going to be running the room, not the showrunner, but the guy in the writer's room that's cracking the whip and keeping everyone in line.
Yeah, he's going to make sure, what's his name, doesn't add any weird, creepy sex shit between Batgirl and Batman.
And Batman. No Bruce, no weird sex, no JJ, no mystery boxes. Except if we're doing a Riddler episode, then you can have a mystery box.
Yeah, then it makes sense, yes.
Then it makes sense. No Matt Reeves, no. I don't actually know any of your bad habits as a creator. I genuinely like most, if not all, the stuff you've made, so there you go. Can we put some talking monkeys in there? Maybe.
We'll have a Gorilla Grodd episode. It'll be great.
Ah, that'll be good. Brubaker is also a really interesting choice, too, when we look back at, his work for DC, because obviously, he wrote Batman for a little bit there in the 2000s. There was Batman Fugitive and Bruce Wayne Murderer. Yep. He had a whole trilogy of stories.
Yeah, he did.
That have never been adapted before and are something that I could see be adapted in this. But more interestingly, of course, Brubaker is the man behind Gotham Central, which is basically Law & Order in Gotham City, and one of my favorite series because of that. And also the most famous and probably most well-known Catwoman solo series he wrote as well.
Yeah, well, and we know for a fact as well Gotham Central is going to be at least somewhat adapted in that new... There's a live-action series that's tied to Matt Reeves' Batman film.
Absolutely, which makes me wonder, I'm like, oh, are they, setting up for this? Is this animated series going to either be involved with it or, at least take inspiration from the other stuff? Because if so, that's pretty cool, actually, that they might be laying the groundwork early.
And it also it makes it seem like they're starting to sort of get their shit together, because if it is, that means all of these are connected in some way. They got the original creator of it all back and everything to sort of oversee it, so it looks like there's some sort of coordination actually happening here.
Also, just more comic book writers at all being involved is always, a good idea.
Absolutely, yeah.
Likewise, too, with the fact that he was so, involved in one of the greatest eras of Catwoman, clearly Catwoman is going to play huge in The Batman, the movie. In fact, the last trailer that came out focused on her quite heavily. And I wonder, are they already thinking multimedia? Are they already thinking spin-offs? In fact, the next DC animated movie is going to be a Catwoman movie.
Yeah, that comes out in February.
It does, and I think Greg Weisman wrote it or did punch-up for it or something. I know I was going to see it because of that. So yeah, I'm wondering, are they trying to position Catwoman right now to have a big year in 2022?
I think so. I think they are. I think they're actually thinking about this for once.
I mean, hey, Wonder Woman got great reviews and made money. Who's another really well-known female character you have? Hey, yeah. Catwoman, why not? I'm down for it. Looks like they got some interesting ideas that they're going to be playing with her.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about the trailer in a minute, but hey, more movie news there. Some costume leaks came out from Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
We get to see Thor in some gold armor, much like from the comics, and we also get to see what Jane is going to be looking like as the goddess of thunder.
Yeah, and she looks exactly like she did in the comics.
100% like her comic counterpart. It's funny, too, because I know you and I have been asking this question forever because we love getting in the weeds in the comic stuff, and that is like, hey, is she just blonde Jane under the helmet, or does she have a completely different face? Because the comics never answered that question adequately.
No, they never did. They'll probably just make Jane blonde.
Probably. Also, does she have the helmet because it's cool and because that was part of her comic costume, or are we also doing part of the storyline where she has to keep her identity a secret because that's why she had the helmet?
Again, maybe it just comes with the hammer.
Maybe it just comes. I mean, Thor's got a new hammer now, too. I like people, too. Some people I'm sure you saw were pissing and moaning about the gold suit. And I'm like, that's how it looked in the book, though.
That's, what's it? Walt Simonson's battle armor.
Yeah, it's Simonson, my dude. That's what it looks like.
That's exactly what it looks like. And yeah, it's perfect. I love it.
Yeah. And yes, it is loud. And yes, it is over the top because that was the era in comics. And also, too, in that era, Thor had to wear it because, well, he kept his immortality. He lost his invulnerability. His mom gave it to him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I have to wonder, is that going to be a thing in the movie, too? Is Thor, what is it, injured or hurt in some way, and this is like a healing suit?
Yeah, possibly. Maybe it's just something that comes with with Stormbreaker, maybe?
Maybe.
It's like an unlockable or something.
It's an unlockable, yeah. I turned in all my V-Bucks.
It could be something he has to fight Gore in.
Oh, yeah, like a whole, last movie, we need this.
Yeah.
End of the movie, I built you a new suit.
Mm-hmm.
And also, too, let's face it, from a sheerly cold-hearted marketing standpoint, yeah, we love new costumes because that means new action figures and new Halloween costumes. Yeah, new toys, exactly.
Yep.
Get your Marvel Legends Thor figure.
Mm-hmm. I'd want a Marvel Legends Thor figure of this.
Man, I got to get back into the figures, too. I took the dive, and I ended up getting back into the Pokemon cards because they were, one of the hottest things. I know, trust me, man. It's a terrible, terrible thing to get into again. It's really addictive. It's gambling for children is what it is. It's scratchy lottos, but for nerds. But, in April, they got, a bunch of those Marvel Legends retro figures coming out. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, that Sandman looks good. That's a good-looking shocker.
Yep.
I kind of need them. I'm going to sit them on my computer so they can look at me while I work. Be like, hey, get back to work or else. But this looks cool. I like the costumes. They look like the things they're supposed to look like.
Exactly, which doesn't. I don't know why people were moaning about it. Yeah, it looks. I compared it on Twitter to the battle suit, and it's exactly the same color scheme, same helmet with the little eagle thing on it. Yeah.
And also, too, even if you don't like the picture, it'll probably look better in motion.
Oh, again, you got to as well. Yeah, that this is just concept art. It is going to look different as a physical costume.
Yeah, it's a proof of concept to prove that we can make it and make it look like that in live action.
Yeah.
And hey, speaking of costumes too, we got the new trailer drop for The Batman, so we got a much better look at Catwoman's suit.
Yeah, and it looks great.
Yeah. Which, again, I people were having trouble with that, too. They're like, I don't like the costume. Like, it's a leather cat suit. Catwoman wears a leather cat suit. What's the problem?
The one thing I don't like about it is, the mask thing she wears, because it looks quite a bit... It's just like a ski mask that she, has over her nose. I think that's what's weirding me out, the nose bit. But it's better than the fucking glasses that turn into cat ears that they had in the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, again, there's a lot of Earth 1, Year 1ing going on in this, and my assumption is that none of the costumes in this one are going to last. These are all going to be one movie costumes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. These are the prototypes.
Yeah, we don't really learn a lot more from this trailer than we have in anything else. There's not any.
We get to see some of the action and shit though, and it looks fucking awesome.
Looks good. Batman punches guys pretty hard. They shoot him, but it don't do nothing because his bat armor too good. Again, he fight in the dark in big red light, and I like it.
Yeah, well, one thing I really liked about it as well is that he doesn't actually have the glide cape thing when he jumps off the building. It's like a was it like a wingsuit, which I thought was pretty cool.
A very Spider-Man. I always think of that for Spider-Man when he's got the webs under him as a wingsuit.
Yep.
Yeah, some interesting ideas going on in this one. And while it was not part of the trailer, the other big thing is we got a full view of what Riddler was going to look like in the movie. And yeah, he's the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, which makes sense for Riddler.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
The Zodiac Killer, for those who don't know, was a real-life San Francisco-era killer who murdered people in a costume that he made with his own symbol and then sent, coded messages to the police to solve.
It's exactly what Riddler would do in, like, a realistic situation.
Yeah. I think it matches this universe they're going for, this, Earth 1 thing perfectly. Mm-hmm. Would I have preferred the classic green zoot suit? Yeah. But, I mean, I get what they're doing here.
Yeah, exactly. It fits the world and the aesthetic and everything.
Again, it actually makes sense, unlike weird tattooed cartel Joker that made no sense. That
people tried to say was better as well. Yeah. I don't know whether you saw that. There were people saying that cartel Joker made more sense than Zodiac Killer Riddler, which no, it didn't.
There are good reinventions and bad reinventions, and I will chop this up to a good reinvention because I actually see what you're doing.
Exactly, it makes sense.
And also, God willing, this will be the Batman series where the villains don't all die at the end. So, God willing, if we ever see Riddler again in one of these, he will be in the classic green suit. This is a proto suit because this is Batman early in his career.
Exactly. We could definitely see him in the suit. I imagine we would.
I would hope that would be the thing. He finds a reason to get the bowler hat. And thank you, Tall Geese.
Yes, thank you for the subscription.
I like its Green Arrow from Injustice eating an apple. That was our subscription thing. Spiral in the chat. So Ted Cruz is Edward Nygma. You're saying, no, that was Ted Cruz's father who was the Zodiac Killer. That's my other favorite thing about the Zodiac Killer, too. Wore a costume, taunted the police with puzzles and messages, and we still don't fucking know who he was.
No.
Isn't that so fun? There was a real goddamn supervillain who wore a costume, killed people, taunted the police, and we don't know who he is.
Don't know who he was. We think we might, but probably don't.
There's been some breaks recently. I remember there was a thing like a year and a half ago where they're like, yeah, it was an old Navy code breaker who may have been in some of the places at the right time around the murders. So there's a good chance it might have been him.
Yeah, but we're not too sure yet. We don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The real Zodiac Killer totally wore a costume. Crusader Con. Google it. It looks like a fucking homemade supervillain costume.
Yeah, it's like a bag with that fucking symbol he has, and yeah,
it was like a crosshair and everything. So I'm like, yeah, Riddler is the Zodiac Killer just with a question mark. Mm-hmm. Again, I dig it. I like it. And I think people are surprised that I like it, too, because, normally I live by that credo of, look, if I can't tell what it is by looking at it, then you did a bad job.
The thing is, looking at it, you can tell it's Riddler, because he still has, the question mark. If he did on the suit, he still has the question mark and all that sort of stuff. It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Green question mark. I think it's the glasses and eyes thing that's fucking
the mask thing, yeah, that weird mask thing he wears.
I think if he didn't have that, people would have been more okay with it.
Well, maybe he doesn't wear that for most of the film. Maybe we'll actually see his face.
Which I hope we do, because Paul Dano is an amazing facial actor.
He is, yeah. And he likes to pick roles as well where he gets the shit beat out of him as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's going to get the shit beat out of him in this. He got shit beat out of him in, There Will Be Blood and Prisoners. And everything he's been in. Is this guy's fetish?
I think so. Hey, is this the creator's thinly veiled fetish? But yeah, Paul Dano is great, and he's creepy as fuck, and I really hope that he gets a chance to act and do a lot of talking in this, because I think his performance will win people over, even if you don't love the costume.
Absolutely.
That's probably also why I'm giving this one a lot of leeway, because I've literally been pitching Paul Dano to be a Batman villain since forever. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I'm very much excited for that. So there's The Batman coming soon, maybe. We don't know now. Omicron, a bunch of shit's getting moved around.
Yeah, it's meant to be in March, but I don't know.
But who the fuck even knows? Now all my theaters are closed. Who the hell knows? Then again, this is going to also be an interesting thing going forward for movie studios, where it's like, okay, gang, how greedy are you is the thing, because we now know, because of Spider-Man No Way Home and Venom, people are willing to risk their lives to see a superhero movie, but can you morally live with yourself?
Well, you say that, but then like stuff like Morbius gets delayed. When you would think they'd be like, no, release the movie now. Well, like Spider-Man is still in the theaters, and this is kind of related to that.
Now, we all know that Morbius isn't a real movie.
It doesn't actually exist. It's just some tax write-off.
It's a highly elaborate money-washing scheme.
Yeah, they only made the trailers, you know.
and you see, they're letting us know that it's fake because they're now going to be releasing Morbius on April 1st. April Fool's Day coincidence? I think not. You're going to go into that theater and it's just going to be like black and white footage of Jared Leto showing you his butthole for like an hour. Like, there you go. Fooled you. They're going to superimpose Michael Keaton. He's going to come walking out for a second. Because that's another thing, too, where it's like, you saw Spider-Man No Way Home, right? You saw what they did with Venom. You now know you never have to see a Sony movie.
Yeah, you don't.
Because none of it matters, and they straight up told you that none of it matters in this.
Yeah, they told you it was all bullshit.
They told you to your face that it's bullshit and none of it matters, and if there is something we want, like the black suit, we'll just take it.
Yeah, we'll just take a piece from it and just do our own shit with it.
Yeah, is what we'll do. So you don't need to see Morbius, and you don't have to see Kraven or any of the other stuff they're pushing, because it won't matter.
No.
I hope that was the takeaway. I really do hope people learned that. I'm just saying. I mean, I've been proven wrong about humanity before, but we'll see.
Yeah, Morbius will make... It's the next film to make, like, fucking 1.5 billion.
Hey, everybody, come down to the Morbius Super Spreader event. Have a negative test and get in free. Or no, have a positive test and get in free. Yeah, we're just going to have Jared Leto's coming in from his sex island to have a big old cough off with everybody.
Yeah, he's just going to cough over everyone.
Yeah, really, Jesus Christ. You'd think they'd want to get that movie out as quick as they can, too, before, you know, the hard-hitting HBO documentary about what's going down on Jared Leto's island comes out. That's what I'm saying. Also, too, they've had all this extra time to move it around and edit it around. What's the over-under? Do we even think that Michael Keaton is going to be in the movie now?
Oh, I have no idea. I know that whole... They did say that whole... thing where there was that picture of like Spider-Man in the alley, you know, on the wall.
Yeah,
that picture was just a placeholder. So and again, I think the people making the film didn't know what was happening in No Way Home. So I think they were hoping to replace that with like a picture of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but then they're like, no, like your movie's bullshit. It's not related to our movie. So like, what do we do?
Well, I mean, we now know more than ever because, you know, some of that concept art for No Way Home came out. Originally, America Chavez was supposed to be in it. So, again, the script for that was supposed to be way different, too.
Yeah, well, that was because Multiverse of Madness was meant to come out before No Way Home, but it wasn't finished yet. So, yeah, it would have made sense for her to be there and be the one to bring the other Spider-Man into the film. But it couldn't happen because they shifted release dates.
So again, you know, let this be a lesson that this shit is way more liquid than we fans think. It's way more malleable, way more, you know, changed on the fly. And the fact that they're able to balance all of this and actually make it good and make it make sense is pretty fucking miraculous, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
Also, too, why would Michael Keaton even be important if he showed up in a Morbius movie now? Because now no one remembers anything.
Yeah, it does. Again, they didn't know what was happening in that film. They just had to guess.
They just had to guess. Thank you, Jackson Brock, for the follow. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Unless that's the big twist and Michael Keaton knows everything. I know everything. Why? Because I'm the Vulture. That's a power I have now. A Vulture never forgets.
Yeah.
That's elephants. Shit, I'm the elephant now.
Yeah, nah. I don't know. I don't know.
It will be very interesting. Again, I can't wait to read the reviews for Morbius, assuming it ever comes out, because I'm pretty sure it won't.
I keep thinking that someone's going to be like someone at like a studio, like someone's going to get access to the movie and just be fuck it and just dump it on like torrent sites online. Or something, just like full like 4K copy or something.
Like X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah, now some of the effects aren't done yet. Some of the music isn't there. But you can check it out. Jared Leto does it stuff. Look, you can see the movie, but you have to come to my island to see it.
You have to join my cult.
One night only. Oh, that's fucking funny. I like that. All right, moving on from there, we got some more Batman news. Batman Beyond White Knight by Sean Gordon Murphy, the third part in his big Batman White Knight trilogy.
Yeah, Beyond the White Knight.
I say it's a trilogy, but we also had the Victor Freeze one-shot.
And the Harley Quinn book.
Which was excellent, by the way. I put that on my best of the year list. But yeah, this looks good. This looks interesting. I really want to know what kind of spin they're going to do for Batman Beyond now, because it doesn't look to be that far into the future.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, some of the stuff on like the cover as well just is quite interesting, because obviously we'll be continuing that story with Jason Todd coming in and like helping Bruce out while he's in prison.
He's his warden, basically.
Yeah, he's his warden, and it looks there's a character on there next to who I assume is the Terry McGinnis of this universe.
Oh,
but
yeah.
There's a character next to him that looks like Bruce, but he's in like GTO gear, which is that Gotham department of whatever.
Their super crime task force.
Yeah, their super crime task force. So I wonder if maybe Bruce isn't Batman anymore, but he's like something else.
Yeah, does he get like a work release program? Like, we'll let you out, but you have to join the GTO.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting, because that's always kind of been like at the heart of these White Knight books, and that's like, if Batman cared so much about the city, he'd, put down the costume and put on a badge. And this is the book that goes, okay, well, what if he actually did do that, though?
Exactly, yeah.
Which, man, the timing on this was Sean Gordon Murphy. Jeez, I bet you couldn't, gauge how we were all gonna feel about the cops in a little bit. Oh boy, little did we know, mass vigilantes, were actually a little rung above.
Boy, maybe that's like the entire reason. Maybe like in the years since Batman has been like kidnapped, like the GTO has like people have been
corrupt.
They've been recruiting into the GTO and they've become like corrupt, and Batman has to join them to like root them out and stuff. Yeah.
I like that a lot, actually, and, say what you want about Sean Gordon Murphy, and he doesn't say a lot for himself anymore because he's left social media because he stepped in it one too many times. I think he's fairly good at gauging fans and what they want, and I think he's the sort of guy who would do what you're saying, Matt, and try and get ahead of that and like, okay, let's actually flip this idea on its head now.
Yeah.
I definitely think they would do that. Harley's also front and center, too, because at the end of that Harley miniseries, she basically became the de facto #1 hero in Gotham.
And she's in a relationship with Bruce.
Also that, which is incredibly fascinating.
And has 2 kids.
Yeah, which is very, very fascinating, and I'm interested to see where that will go.
Yeah.
But yeah, Batman Beyond the White Knight, despite how controversial its creator sometimes is, they're good books.
They're so, we always complain about like Batman books, mainly because they're all the same. But this is one where it's like completely different. It's so true. Creative and so cool and so different, and it's a lot of fun.
It really is, yeah. This is one of those Batman books that makes me not hate full-on Batman saturation, where it's like, you know what, if they were all more like this and they were all like interesting and meaty and filled with ideas, and maybe I don't agree with everyone, but it definitely gives me something to think about.
Exactly, yeah. It's like reminds me of that there was recently a Jock Batman Black Label book, and I read the first issue of it, and it was literally a copy of that. Remember back when DC did the like digital books, how they had that amazing Batman series from Mark Russell with like him and like Harley Quinn teamed up to like travel across the city. It's basically that.
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
and I'm like, wow, this is terrible. This is terrible. This is just a ripoff of Mark Russell's book.
That's the problem too. When you're making so many Batman books, eventually people are going to have the same idea.
Yeah.
Like, how many times can Arkham get taken over and heroes have to go in and save it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Many more, apparently. So there you go. What else do we got going on there after that? Oh, hey, so we had talked about this as a rumor before that Jason Aaron might be coming back to Punisher, and we said, that sounds like wishful thinking. Well, apparently the wishful thinking was correct because, yeah, we're getting a brand new 12-issue maxi series from Jason Aaron about the Punisher.
Yeah, Punisher's coming back. He's leading the Hand.
Yes.
Or like part of the Hand. He's got a new cool symbol that many people are quick to point out looks a lot like Wolverine.
It kind of does.
From when he was
Oni.
Yeah, from Wolverine when he was part of the Hand.
Oh shit.
But yeah, no, that's so fucking cool. That's so fucking cool. It is.
It's a cool premise. A lot of people had a problem with it for obvious reasons because the Punisher finds himself at an interesting place culturally at the moment, and it mostly comes down to the logo, and that is like, hey, again, how can we in good conscience keep printing Punisher comics when so many alt-right neo-fascists love the symbol, dirty cops love the symbol, but Disney refuses to sue them and be litigious about these, black market, things they're selling, because that would mean Disney would have to take a political stance that they don't want to do because red state money is as good as any money.
Yeah.
So for a while there, it's like, well, let's just keep them dead and completely sidestep it, or let's just get rid of the skull. And Disney, and Marvel, Marvel's great about this, where it's like, well, we could do those things. We could keep them dead. We could get rid of the skull. Or we could make a little money off this for a 12-issue series where we flirt with changing the skull design.
Yeah, and I'm all for it. The story sounds cool. He's part of the Hand now. I have to imagine this will be like or I have to imagine Jason Aaron will follow up after Rosenberg's run where he faked his death, and I imagine maybe he goes into hiding with the Hand or something.
Yeah, I really hope Aaron, picks up on that plot thread, because in the past, Aaron's had a hard time picking up on other people's work. I want to see that, and I also want to see how this connects to what's going on in Daredevil at the moment, because Elektra's whole big thing is that her and Matt need to get married so they can destroy the Beast and destroy the Hand completely. Well, what's that going to look like when Punisher is leading the Hand?
Exactly, yeah. Is Punisher leading the Hand or like an offshoot of the Hand? Is there like, because there has been in the past different like versions of the Hand all at once.
Has Frank himself been possessed by the Beast? Is that the angle they're
Is he
taking
the Beast? Yeah.
Is he the Beast? Is that the thing where it's like, oh, we loved our friend Frank, we loved the Punisher so much, but a dark evil force has taken him over and changed his very meaning, and I don't think he's our friend anymore, everyone. I think we need to keep him at arm's length now going forward. Is that like the meta thing now where it's like, guys, it's like not even cool for us to hang out with him anymore? Is this Frank being like, no, I can change them from the inside. I know I can. Does he end up going too far? I really wonder. There's a lot of places they can go. But yeah, this for all the reasons and more. And like, they wanted it to be controversial. They wanted us to talk about it. This has jumped to like the top of like my must-read pile where it's like, okay, I want to take this fucking ride. Let's see where this goes, because this is either going to be great or it's going to be a great train wreck.
Yeah, I was excited anyway just because the Punisher is coming back and that they're finally doing something with him after a very long time, like what, almost 3 years.
Yes, it's been they left him dead for a long time.
Yeah. So it's so cool to have him coming back and coming back in such a cool way as well.
Totally. Yeah, I will be very interested to see how this changes the Punisher status quo. And also, this one probably stands to be a pretty hot seller, because here's the other thing about the Punisher and why Marvel probably felt okay leaving him dead for 3 years outside just the obvious, controversy of terrible people loving him too much for all the wrong reasons. The Punisher was never a huge moneymaker. He moved a lot of merch, obviously, because it's a very merchable image. But the books themselves were usually always getting canceled prematurely.
Yeah, he never really had like a proper run. Like I guess like the Matthew Rosenberg run was probably one of his longest runs.
It was one of the longer runs.
Yeah.
Which, again, that one also off the back of controversy because Frank had joined the Secret Empire and evil fake Cap. People were interested to see how Rosenberg kind of put that genie back in the bottle, which he did by making him War Machine first. People forget that Rosenberg did both runs.
Yep.
And then before that, it's like not much of anything, and then Ennis.
Yeah. Before that, they did stuff where like, oh, he's, an angel. He's Frankenstein. And, all this
He's
bullshit.
The Space Punisher.
Yeah, Space Punisher, which was fucking awesome. Fucking Donny Cates, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and all that shit.
Well, there's Cosmic Ghost Rider, and then there's also Space Punisher, where he's like wearing so Punisher has gone to space twice.
Twice, yeah.
Then he like went into the realms and was like killing like frost trolls and shit as well.
Yeah, he had his own Suicide Squad team.
Yeah. So like Frank has done a lot, and that's why when some people are like, oh, they've ruined the great name of the Punisher by having him lead the Hand. I'm like, okay, first off, fuck off. It's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Second off, have you read a lot of Punisher recently?
This isn't even the most insane thing he's done recently. Frank traveled back in time to try and kill baby Thanos, but in turn ended up turning Thanos into a Punisher.
Yeah, this isn't even like top 10 craziest shit. Like, if anything, this is like an idea they probably should have done forever ago and probably didn't because Daredevil already did it once. Mm-hmm. So that's a thing.
Yep.
I hope he has a moment with Daredevil, and he will, where, Matt's like, I did this once.
It wasn't good.
It was bad for me. Arguably, it's the worst thing I ever did. And Frank's like, nah, I'm good. We can change it. It's good. I'm doing good.
Yeah,
I'm in a good place.
You didn't have guns, but I do.
There you go. See, you weren't armed enough. I'm armed enough.
I wonder if they will have him have guns, because I think some of the art that we've seen of him, he's only using like bladed weaponry.
Swords and shit.
Yeah. I wonder if that's going to be like a thing going forward with Frank now. He doesn't use any guns, but he uses like bladed weaponry and stuff like that. He becomes like some fucking fedora ninja.
Samurai.
Yeah, using the fucking swords he bought from the mall.
That was another great joke I read where they're like, man, Marvel, you really know your angry white boy fan base by turning Punisher into the ultimate weeaboo. I went to Japan and trained with ninjas and swords.
He faked his death, and while he was like hiding out, he just got super into anime. And he's like, I'm gonna go fucking lead this Japanese fucking ninja cult.
In my time off recovering, I watched a lot of Netflix. I learned the ways of the JoJo and the One Piece. It changed me. I'm different now. You don't even know the full breadth of my power. I am Ultra Instinct Frank now.
Frank's stand is just a gun.
Oh my god.
It's just a gun.
Ted Nugent.
It's Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent. And my stand, Kid Rock. Bow to bang to bang diddy diddy. That's all he does. That's his power. He just annoys you.
His stand is Charlton Heston.
Make my fucking day. Oh my god. See, this is why we need to write the Punisher, man. That's how you make all the hate groups not think the Skull is cool anymore. You just have me and Matt write ridiculous bullshit with him for like a year.
Yeah, no, again, like our pitch where he goes to San Francisco and he helps out the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, starts defending the gay community.
The rainbow symbol. Yeah.
Yeah, becomes part of the Skull. He takes like a tie-dye shirt and puts it on.
Yeah.
That, like, yeah, Punisher becomes like the cool dad, the bouncer at the gay bar, defending the gay community from hate crimes. That would make all those alt-right guys fucking shitting themselves, and you'd be telling a good story.
Yeah.
12 issues, you call it Frank Castle, Pride and Punishment. That's what you call. More super chats from people helping us out. Captain Kuhn, as I said on Twitter, his sword sheath should shoot his guns into his hands like Jetstream Sam from Metal Gear Rising. Fuck yeah. Yes. Oh my god. Eric Stanley, I love the idea of a poly relationship with Logan, Gene Scott, even though it's not explored enough. Are there any other characters from Marvel DC that you feel would work in a poly relationship? Oh man, that's an excellent question. Shit. Man, I guess Peter Parker and all his different girlfriends. Nightwing's got like a million girlfriends. Maybe they can all work it out.
Yeah, they'll all get together sometime.
Amanda Waller's in a poly relationship with the Squad. Task Force P, the Poly Squad. It's like old, Roman detachments where, they're all lovers, which means they'll want to fight that much harder to save one another. See, I'm joking, but there's like half an interesting idea.
There is, yeah.
Like, yeah, because, you don't see a lot of relationships on the Suicide Squad. That's why it's interesting that Match is dating Nocturna now in that book.
Mm-hmm.
Because that never happens, and Ambush Bug even says that, like, oh, we don't normally do that in here.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, there's your Punisher, everyone. I'm sure Matt and I will be talking about this way more, because this just became one of the hottest upcoming books now.
Yeah, that comes out in March.
Oh, so not that far away.
I want to say March, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, controversy sometimes leads to people picking up books, and I think that's what they're banking on for this one. And because it's Jason Aaron, who wrote a good Punisher run before, he actually kind of wrote the unofficial sequel to Max.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Where he, like, fights Kingpin and Bullseye, but in the Max universe.
Yep.
He also fought, like, a goddamn, like, pilgrim in that, too.
Yeah,
like a fucking hitman who was, like, a Mennonite.
Yeah, like a Protestant, yeah.
I love that guy. I do not use guns, for they are technology. I will use the weapons and tools of my people. So, like, a big sledgehammer and shit.
Yeah.
Fucking love that guy. Where'd that guy go? All right, moving on from there. Big event news for 2022 Marvel Judgment Day, which is being sold as an Avengers, X-Men, and Eternal-centric story, which has naturally led everyone and their mother to believe that, oh, surely they must be fighting each other.
And they probably are, because this was hinted at in Timeless.
Yes, I only knew about this because you told me about it. Now, is Timeless a series, or is it just one issue?
One issue.
Oh, fuck. Well, if I knew that, I would have read it then.
It's just one issue, yeah. It's a one issue that sort of previews what's coming and sets up a lot of the stuff that's coming, including this.
Right, yes. Okay, yeah, they love doing that, don't they? Where it's like, hey, here's a primer of what we got coming from the year. Well, in that case, maybe I should read Timeless.
Yeah, it's a pretty good shit fight between Kang and Doctor Doom. The whole premise is that fucking Kang is upset that a 21st century writer called Doctor Doom, the most prolific villain of the 21st century, and he's like, no, I am. I'm gonna fucking show you this.
I have a TV show. What do you have?
Yeah. But yeah, no. This is probably going to be a big fight between them. This is also being hinted at towards in the Eternals book.
As you told me, that's how I knew about it.
Yeah, with Ajax and all that, coming to the realization that obviously Avengers are living in like the corpse of one of their gods, and like their gods are speaking to people like Robbie Reyes and everything, but not the Eternals, so they're getting kind of fucking upset.
A little pissed.
Yeah, so there's a war brewing. The X-Men, though, I don't know where they come into it. I just imagine they'll probably be getting involved because the Avengers are involved in it, helping out their friends and stuff.
Yeah, they don't seem to have a dog in the fight at the moment, but they might, though, because in the X-Men book, they keep teasing that, oh, their whole resurrection protocol thing is going to be spoiled, which means maybe the Eternals are mad that the X-Men are Eternals now, and they're, like, cutting into their immortality racket, something like that.
I could see that, yeah.
Like, one of their gods says, like, oh, this is a fucking affront to the Celestials. Only the Eternals were meant to be immortal. The X-Men are fucking up the balance.
Yeah, maybe, the Resurrection Protocol unbalances the machine, which is Earth. So, yeah, maybe they have to get involved at some point, yeah.
Ewing played with that idea, too, by saying the Hulks were fucking it up, too. They were fucking up life and death. For a minute there. That was a good story.
Yeah.
That was in that Jane Foster Thor book, actually, when her and Doctor Strange and a bunch of other people formed the Magic Medics.
Yes.
Superheroes who were also doctors. Where's that team? I'd read that team.
Yeah, that team just kind of disappeared, didn't it?
One story, one and done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this looks interesting. Again, I love it's called Judgment Day, so it sounds like an old WWE pay-per-view. Judgment Day, get your tickets now.
It's Judgment Day. Fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin's gonna fucking jump off the top ring onto the fucking...
kick Wolverine in the nuts.
Yeah.
It's a 6 sides of steel match as Cyclops of the X-Men takes on Ajax of the Eternals in a first blood match. And oh, what's this? It's Captain America doing a run-in with the Shield. Oh, he's running wild, brother, on all of them. See, look, this shit writes itself, really. Writes itself. This sounds okay. I know, as more time goes on, we get like more and more kind of jaded when it comes to big hero versus hero storylines. But as we've said, there's actually some stuff here they could explore should they want to.
And it's been a while since all of these have crossed over. So
it's true.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it feels like we haven't had a big one like this in a while. That to Marvel's credit, they kind of chilled out on it for a bit.
Yeah, what would be the last really big event, because all of their events recently have just been kind of very small.
They've been short. They've been like 6 issues.
Yeah, and just small in scale as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess the Earth was like endangered in Empire, but they had that under control. That was like Avengers Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I'd say probably Secret Wars was like the last big thing.
That was where it was everyone all over the place. I guess the Venom event too. I guess King in Black, but again, that was more of a Venom thing.
Yeah, it's very self-contained.
Even right now, Devil's Reign is nice and small because it's street level, because they're all just fighting the Kingpin in New York.
Yeah.
And yet it feels very big.
It does, yeah. Again, because of the characters involved. Because it's not just Daredevil and stuff. You get people like Tony Stark is involved, and Captain America is there as well, and all that.
Yeah. Eric Sandley helping us out again. So I know Exodus hates Cersei for taking his best friend, but I have no idea why Eternals would fight mutants. Like we said, man, resurrection protocols. Maybe that pisses them off.
Yeah, maybe they see these mutants as taking their thunder, basically, and becoming the new Eternals.
Our gerbs.
Yeah.
Also, too, I mean, the mutants are fucking around in space and everything, too, so it's only a matter of time before maybe they, like, flip the wrong switch or colonize the wrong planet.
And again, maybe colonizing Mars was, like, a problem.
Maybe, yeah, it's like you've stepped into a bigger world now than you could ever know.
Yeah, you didn't account for us Eternals and the Celestials.
Yeah. J-Pod with an interesting question saying, Jason Aaron isn't involved, and if Kieran Gillen is handling the Eternal aspect, then this crossover could really work. So there you go. So yeah, there's lots of options there. Yeah, I guess there's no like one X-Men person to be involved in this, because everyone kind of runs their own little X-Men fiefdoms.
Yeah, well, I have to imagine, because Teenie Howard's kind of stepped into the role as like a head of X. Yeah. I guess she would be involved in it.
I guess so, just to make sure that everything, doesn't fuck with continuity and everything stays on track. Now, more hero versus hero news. Apparently, Hulk and Thor are going to be set for a crossover in Donny Cates' new Hulk book, where he claims to finally answer the question, who is the mightiest Avenger?
Makes sense they'll cross over. Hulk is, he's writing both. Hulk is going out into space.
Yeah. It feels like a bit of a no-brainer, doesn't it? Also, it feels like when, like, fan fighting and, like, meme bullshit becomes the background for a good story, where it's like, well, yeah, why shouldn't they fight each other? Why shouldn't we see who the mightiest one is?
Exactly. And now, we're going to get a cop-out, and it's going to be, there's no real winner. The winner here is the fans. Yeah. Or are they going to actually give us an actual clear winner?
I mean, Hulk and Thor find themselves in interesting places right now. Thor is kind of slowly becoming a mad king with the weight of the world on his shoulders. Hulk is a starship with maybe an evil Banner driving him. We don't really know yet.
Yeah. An evil Banner driving him, but he also finds old Banners out in the universe. It's weird.
There's a lot of weirdness going on in that Kate Hulk book right now. We don't really know what's happening 2 issues in.
No.
Which is kind of a blessing and a curse, because it's like, okay, fine, I like a good mystery. We can, parse this. But at the same time, it's like, okay, you're expecting me to buy a lot of books when I don't actually know what's happening. But we'll see. Also, I like, too, they're fighting in an arena in this picture, too, because, Thor's been dealing with an arena world right now, and also this is kind of a throwback to, like, Hulk versus Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah, I have to imagine this is also... Wasn't there, like, some Hulk event coming? When they announced all those events, wasn't there some sort of Hulk event or something? Or
if there was, I missed it.
Yeah, or maybe it was just what they're calling this event, which I think is like Banner of War or something.
Oh, that's fun. I like that. Banner of War. That's good.
Yeah, I hope it's that arena that we saw in the Thor book that's in like the hand of like a dead super god or something that Odin was fighting in that time.
I'm like 2 issues behind on Thor, but I'm picking it up there. I was sure to go through it. I know Mjolnir's all pissed at him now.
Yeah.
Which, makes sense. Now, moving on from there, we got some Spider-Man-centric news here. Apparently, Spider-Man Beyond, the era of Spider-Man we're in right now with the multiple writers and Ben Reilly, is assumedly going to be coming to an end by October, which is sooner than we think.
It's sooner than we think, but then also, it was like a year.
Yeah, and also you're getting like double, triple books sometimes with the special tie-ins, which are very much part of the story. people have seemed to be enjoying this. I know, judging just by the numbers on my channel, a lot of people are interested to see where this story is going, for better or worse, and people don't seem to be complaining near as much like they were near the end of Spencer's run.
I'm behind in a couple of issues just because like those tie-ins sort of like stop me from reading because I'm like, not really invested in these tie-ins as much. Like it was mainly that Aunt May Doc Ock one. I'm like, this is kind of fucking boring.
It kind of was, but also it's going to be important because Riley is facing Ock right now in the book.
Yeah.
And that book really assumes you read that tie-in.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, they really, really assume. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't completely ditch these tie-ins, or I would have no fucking clue what was happening. But yeah, I mean, that's cool. You know, I like that, you know, Spider-Man, they have dates in mind where it's like, look, we're going to end this story around here. And also it's around the same time Spider-Man is having a big anniversary. So they're going to want Peter back in the costume by then.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it all kind of works out. I mean, hell, you can call this era a stopgap. You can call it stalling for time. You can call it whatever you want. I thought it was fairly interesting. A lot of other people seemed, you know, more than willing to go for the ride, too.
Yeah, I'm enjoying Ben Reilly's Spider-Man and all the stuff with the Beyond Corporation. It's fun.
You know what it is? It's all the stuff that they could never do with Peter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's let's do with Ben all the stuff that we could never do to Peter. Let's send him to therapy. Let's have him have an adult, you know, relationship. Let's have him get a little morally compromised, working for the man in a potentially evil corporation.
Yep.
Have him be his own boss and everything. I'm like, I'm down with that. And yeah, I respect not doing these things to Peter because, yeah, fans would probably bust a fucking nut if you did it to Peter.
Of course they would. Fucking Spider-Man fans, man.
Yeah, no one loves Spider-Man and hates him more than Spider-Man fans. It's like Star Wars fans and Kiss fans. We love it with all our hearts and we hate it with all our souls.
Oh, absolutely. Too. Absolutely, yeah.
I hold within me great multitudes of love and hate. I am an ocean of love and hate unto myself. You have no idea. But yeah, so going to be ending in October. That's cool because that means they know they're building up to a finale.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And they still have a year left.
They do, yeah, so there's a lot of stuff to go with it. Ba-dum. Ooh, here's a fun story. So at the end of, Trial of Magneto, a mutant who I've been asking to come back forever, Thunderbird, was finally resurrected because of Scarlet Witch's magical chicanery.
Yeah, just bullshit. Yeah, I flicked through that last issue and I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. You know,
it's better than the other two issues, but it's also just like, fuck it, magical ricketa racketa.
Yeah, Toad did it, but then he didn't do it.
Yeah.
And Magneto knew about it all along, and that's how we tie it back into Magneto. And
yeah, Toad did it, but he did it for the Rock. You see, that's why Rikishi ran him over. But it was also Scarlet Witch's idea, and she's back in mutant society, but she's not really a mutant anymore.
Yeah, people love her now because that's how quick mutantdom changes, you know, and forgets, you know.
Apparently, Krakoa's dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
I will say though, I do love the image, and I wish the story could match this image where she kind of pushes Exodus aside and takes control of telling her own story.
I did like that ending. That was pretty cool, but I just wish everything else was better.
Like, that's totally one of those instances where it's like, oh, you had that end in mind, and you worked backwards, but it didn't work.
And none of it fit, yeah.
It's a beautiful image. Like, I will only remember that image where it's like, yep, and then she took control of her own story. But, Captain couldn't help him to say again. Spider-Man Beyond is the reverse Brand New Day. Yeah, kind of. That's a fairly good way to look at it, honestly.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, one of the big celebrity mutants they brought back is Thunderbird, the original John Proudstar, who I love deeply. And hey, we're getting giant-sized X-Men's again. Remember, like, Hickman wrote those himself for a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
We're getting more special one-shots, and this one is especially interesting because it is being co-written by Nyla Rose.
Yeah, the AEW wrestler.
Yes, absolutely, because she is half black and half native, and I think that's so awesome that they're getting a native person involved with this, and also I love it when wrestlers write comics.
Yeah, and they've written quite a few. A lot of Marvel comics.
Yeah, they're way more on board with that. Like CM Punk wrote, he wrote like a Shang-Chi one-shot. He wrote some Drax for a bit.
Yeah, we've had a lot of CM Punk stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. I know Christopher Danielson writes for like another indie company. I don't think he's ever written anything for Marvel, but I know he's a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
Also, too, I found this out the other day, and I have never been more jealous in my goddamn life. So apparently Eddie Kingston, one of the top stars in wrestling today, one of the hottest acts on AEW, one of the greatest promos, and just like one of the most legit scary dudes in the ring, is a secret comic book fan, I discovered.
A secret comic book fan.
Secret comic book fan. He reads a lot of stuff in trade, apparently, that other people have given him, but he knows his shit, and he watches a lot of comic book YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned 3 of his favorites. He mentioned Comic Tropes.
Yep.
He really likes them. He likes Comic Storian, and he likes Comic Explained. And I'm like, motherfucker, I've worked with most of them. Why don't you watch me? Benny and Rob don't
We're
know
always
anything
just 6 degrees away, just, you know.
I know, always just a couple degrees away. I'm like, does that mean he's seen my channel and he doesn't like it, or does he not know I exist? Oh God,
he's turned notifications off on Cape Jewel.
I couldn't live with myself if the Mad King Eddie Kingston didn't like my work. That's the thing that gets me to quit. Yeah, Jolie's working at fucking Burger King now. Why? Because Eddie Kingston didn't like his work. But yeah, this is super cool. Cowboy saying, isn't Gail Kim an anime author? Salute, Mad Jolie. Is she really? If so, that's fucking awesome.
That's cool.
I've not seen any of her stuff, but if she is, that's wildly impressive. Yeah. But yeah, Thunderbird coming back. Super stoked on this. Really interesting to see what Proudstar's relationship to the rest of the island is going to be, because he was always a total maverick with Xavier and everyone else. He like never put up with any of Charles's shit.
No, yeah, exactly. And how's that gonna be now? You know, post Inferno.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because like again, we'll talk about that when we talk about Inferno, but like Xavier is like weakened now and kind of like open to taking more shit.
Yep.
Because he kind of has to, and also Proudstar being a native man. You're probably going to think when he looks at Krakoa, are we the colonizers now? Are we going around colonized? Is that cool? I don't think that's cool.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we've got our own island now. Oh, we've got our own planet. We colonized our own planet. And people on Earth aren't very happy about that. Oh, we're taking over parts of like New York and all that. Oh, I don't know about this, guys.
Oh, we've cheated death completely. Like death can't hurt us anymore.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You know, as a guy who's, probably pretty spiritual and everything, and a guy who was dead for a very long time, and I'm going to guess didn't ask to be brought back?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to as well guess is like, okay, you guys, you guys had this island for 2-3 years, like, and I'm only coming back now, and you've had this tech for longer than that, so like, why wasn't I brought back sooner?
Why wasn't I brought back? Again, in the Scarlet Witch book, they tried to make some shit where it's like, oh, well, because he died on Necronotia, his, like, mind wasn't backed up in Cerebro. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you've resurrected people whose minds weren't in Cerebro.
Oh, they have. They absolutely have. It's again, they went into that, they vaguely explored it when they introduced the 5, which was that whole sort of, some mutants get better treatment than others with the resurrection protocols. Some can skip the line. Yeah.
My headcanon, and I hope this ends up being true, is Xavier didn't bring back John Proudstar. Brought his brother back, but he didn't bring him back because Thunderbird was always a pain in his ass.
Yeah, always questioned him. It was just another Scott Summers,
situation. Yeah, it's like I already got one guy, freaking all up in my ass about every decision I make. I don't need 2, and I don't need them talking and hanging out.
Yeah.
Because, again, I could see Proudstar being like, yeah, I don't want to live on this island. In fact, I am actively going to be working against you now.
Yeah, I'm going to go join the X-Men.
Yeah, I'm going to go join them. I'm going to start my own team away from you. We're going to be the X-Patriots. Because we're not friends. That one's free, Nyla Rose. If you're listening, that one's free. I have many more ideas. Also, too, it's funny they're only bringing Thunderbird back now when he actually was, like, really big on that Gifted show for a minute.
Yeah, they tried to make a big push of him. He was in Days of Futures Past as well for a hot minute. Yeah, there was, like, a moment there where it seemed like they were pushing him quite big.
Always liked him. Always thought he was very cool.
Very cool design and everything, yeah.
I hope he gets to be in more like a prominent like native guy as well who's a superhero, because obviously we have John Greycrow over in Hellions, where he used to be called Scalp Hunter and we don't call him that anymore. I hope those two get a moment where it's like, actually I go by Greycrow now. They've actually cleaned up their act a little bit. Cool. I thought it was fucked up that we called you that, villain or not. But yeah, so that's super cool. Excited for that book. Excited for who's going to be writing it. I'm all about that one.
Yeah.
Now, more new stuff coming down the pipeline. The Venom and Symbiote books are just popping now under Ram V and Al Ewing, and apparently they're set to get even bigger because Ram V is going to be crowning a new Carnage in a new miniseries.
Yeah, we're getting someone other than Cletus Cassidy because, you know, the Venom 2 movie did such good service to him that, we need a completely new Carnage now.
Also, let's face it, after King in Black and Absolute Carnage and even that Flash Thompson miniseries they did, he's ringed, man. He's tapped out, Cletus Cassidy. He's like the Joker. He needs to go away for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we like Cletus Cassidy, we like Carnage. There's not a lot going on with Cletus Cassidy as a character. That's the problem with writing 100% pure evil characters.
Mm-hmm.
They are a little one note.
Just a little bit, yeah.
A little one note. I wonder, too, will this tie into the bigger idea we found out in the Venom book, and that is that Alchemax and the Life Foundation and all these other groups are kind of in a symbiote arms race right now. They figure, like, that's the future of warfare, so everyone's trying to get their own. Yeah,
this will end up being like a more modern version of, like, the Flash Thompson agent anti-Venom, where they they either have like part of like his symbiote, the Carnage symbiote, and they try to make it like a super soldier or something
like that. You know, they give it to someone you don't expect.
They give it to Nuke.
Oh man,
John Walker or something.
Oh man, fucking sign me the fuck up. Crossbones.
Oh fuck,
I'd read that. Captain Coon continuing to help us out, thank you. Thunderbird was actually a prankster, thumbtacks and whoopee cushions on chairs, never Xavier's, but always interrupted his classes. He becomes the Johnny Knoxville of Krakoa.
Well, you can never get it on Xavier's chair because Xavier never got up.
Damn. That was his white whale. One day I'll get him. Also, this is Ram V writing this, who obviously has a background in horror and everything, so, you know, it's probably going to continue to be a pretty scary Carnage, and this cover looks pretty terrifying. Yeah,
I'm kind of looking forward to that. Yeah, again, the Venom books, I'm behind by an issue, but it's been really damn good. A really interesting direction for Venom.
This last issue really turned up the heat on it. Like, I wasn't so sure about it because we're getting two stories. We're getting Eddie wherever the hell he went, and we got Dylan doing his thing. What I loved about the last issue is they really find a great relationship for Dylan and the symbiote to have. Basically, their step-parent and step-kid, where the only adult tying them together has died or left, and now they don't know what's keeping them together anymore.
Yeah, they don't have a reason to be together anymore.
It's very fascinating, and the symbiote's like, well, I have to look after you because that's what your dad would have wanted.
Yeah.
And the kid's like, well, whenever I look at you, I just see my missing dad. And, you know, you bring out the worst in me, literally. I don't even know why we're together. And I'm like, fuck, that's actually pretty good. And that's also making the symbiote more of a character, too, on its own.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, so Carnage, I can dig it.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
I can dig it. I'm interested to see where they're going to go with this. I know there's like a young, senator who was in the Flash Thompson miniseries, and he's in the background of this Venom book. Maybe it'll be him.
Yeah, maybe he's the one setting it all up.
Yeah, because he seems like a shithead and be like, oh yeah, you know, we're going to give him a symbiote and see what happens. Because he's running on like an anti-symbiote ticket, so to see him get a symbiote would be interesting.
Yeah.
Also, too, I wonder, will this be like a kinder, gentler Carnage, you know, who's maybe a little bit more heroic because it's not on a serial killer, potentially?
Yeah, maybe.
Remember during Axis when they, like, inverted a bunch of characters and they had, like, heroic Carnage for a little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
It was 3 issues, and it was kind of funny because he was doing good heroic stuff because he was inverted, but because he was a clinical psychopath, he didn't know why, and none of it made sense to him, and I thought that was an interesting place to have him.
Yep.
I'm saving people because I have to, but not because I want to or understand it. I'm just compelled to do it.
Compelled by some other force, yeah.
By some other force, I have been changed, and I'm like, oh, that probably could have kept going for a little bit, but it didn't. So yeah, we got that going on, and the last big piece of news, or at least I think it's the last piece of news, unless anything is broken when I wasn't paying attention, but Godzilla versus Power Rangers.
Yeah, the new IDW series, which I'm surprised hasn't happened before.
I know, right? This is one of those ideas where it's like, why aren't there like 100 of these in Japan right now?
Exactly.
How is this not a bigger thing? The King of the Monsters versus the Big Monster Slayers. Godzilla's a big dragon with atomic breath. Frickin' the Green Ranger rides a dragon Megazord that looks like Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, it writes itself. Prints its own money.
It really does. How has this not been a thing?
Yeah.
You know, obviously I'm all on board with this. I love that Power Rangers is such a big thing now in comic books.
Yeah, it took a while for it to like kick off, which is really strange.
You know, I think it rode that wave of nostalgia in the same way the really good Ninja Turtles books rode the wave of nostalgia.
That's true, yeah.
They're like, hey, we promise that this will be as good as you remember it as a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that promise made like a big, huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting, too, because obviously we see Rita and Goldar on here, who are the traditional Power Rangers villains, and Godzilla, not always a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Force of nature, destructive guy, but ultimately not really a bad guy most of the time.
No, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I have to guess, I know the villains troll him somehow.
They woke him to fight for them, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to see Godzilla and the Dragon Zord team up to fight the bad guy.
It'll be cool if it's the opposite, where like the Power Rangers wake up Godzilla to like go and fuck up like Goldar and all of that.
Look, we can't kill, but this giant thunder lizard can. That'll do it. Tevye 2, any opinions on Flash erasing the Snyderverse? We've talked about this before. It was inevitable.
Yeah, good.
You know, we gotta wipe away the thing that didn't work, so hopefully we can keep making money in the future.
Good.
Flash also has a lot of its own problems going on. Like we said, the Flash seems to be becoming a minor character in the movie that bears the Flash's name.
Yeah, it seems to be fixing up everything else that isn't Flash.
Which, you know, doesn't really sound like a great selling point to me, where it's like, oh, this movie sounds like work. This sounds like I'm going to be watching a construction job. Sounds like you've literally asked me to come watch some paint dry and you put in some new sinks. And you promise that no one will shit in these sinks and that it won't explode. I don't know, man. You installed the last one, so, I mean, can I believe you? Hey, we put in some good Peacemaker in the corner, though. You like that? I'm like, yeah, I do. But I don't even know where to sit in my own home anymore, guys, if I keep pushing this analogy. Captain Kun again, the team up at the end fight with new Mecha King Ghidorah with upgraded parts of the Dragon Zord. Dude, don't
it writes itself. It writes itself.
Now I'm gonna be upset if that doesn't happen. Now I'm gonna be upset if I don't get Mecha King Ghidorah with parts from the Dragon Zord. But believe it or not, everyone, I think that's officially all the news in the 2 weeks we were gone. That was a lot.
I think so, yeah. A lot for January, yeah.
I know, right? Usually it's, fuck you, it's January. Nothing's going on.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we'll get through the comics there. How many did I actually read this week? And again, I don't have... What is it? I don't have the show that blocks off and lets me know when a new week... Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got like 7 to 8.
Nice.
All right, where would you like to start, Matt, as we talk about the books from this week?
Let's start with what did we actually have this week?
We had Batman, Amazing Spider-Man, Knights of Steel, Inferno, Detective Comics, X-Men, and Superman: Son of Kal-El.
Let's start with Inferno.
All right, we'll start with Inferno then. So Hickman's big finale.
Yeah, was it ever?
I mean, which I feel like a lot of people had a hard time wrapping their minds around that. Where it's like, no, this is the finale to Hickman's time on the series, but not the end of Krakoa or this era of X-Men.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to be under the impression that now that Hickman is gone, everything that, like, all the Krakoa stuff is just going to get reverted, and, like, X-Men are going to go back to, like, whatever they were before. Like, there were people in the comments that thought that was going to actually happen.
Not only do we know that's not going to happen because we've seen the Destiny of X solicitation, but I'm going to make a bet right now. I'm going to make you a bet right now, Sunday, 11:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Krakoa, the island, all this stuff is going to continue in the comics until they reboot the movies.
I would even say they'll probably continue after that, because this is like the perfect way to reboot the movies with Krakoa. Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. You think it's too big a concept?
No, not really. You use as an island. You just say there's like as an island, and the X-Men live on it, and then like in throughout the movies, you like deliver all the other shit where it's like it's a living island, and Charles and Eric set this up with like a shadowy woman, and it's all fucked.
It's an idea, but at the same time, I'd kind of like them to, build the foundation of like the mansion in Westchester, because as much as I liked some of those Fox movies, I feel like they never really did it the justice it deserved.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to like Spider-Man it up, to be like, okay, but make it the way that I always wanted to see it. Yeah. So that's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Inferno, the big finale, the wrapping up of several storylines that were started all the way back in Hawks and Pox.
Oh yeah. So many storylines wrapping up for just books that came out, 3 years ago? 2.5 years ago? Just like things you would never even like think that they would even remember.
So much to the point that I think a lot of the people reading it forgot that a lot of this stuff was started then, where it's like, no, the friggin' Mystique was doing Black Ops jobs for Magneto.
That was like the first issue.
Yeah, in the first issue, to keep their hands clean, they sacrificed Sabretooth to keep that relationship a secret, and then they kept sending her on like suicide missions to deal with Nimrod and deal with Orchis while, holding the carrot over her head of the resurrection of Destiny, which they were never going to do because they'd been lying to her the whole time, because Moira didn't want Destiny back.
Mm-hmm.
And, we kind of see how that happened, how, Mystique was able to get all the dominoes in order so she could basically have one-on-one time with Moira to deal with their problem.
Yep.
And they fake us out pretty good there, too, because Moira, being like a classic villain, like, no, you don't understand, your minds are too small. If you kill me, the universe will only reset, as it has many times before. You don't understand. And Mystique being like, I don't care, shoot.
Yeah, shoots her with the gun that turns her into a human. The gun that Forge made, like a long time ago.
Very, yeah.
Yeah, and it's one that, as we find out, that Emma Frost got her hands on, because of course she did.
She's been in control of everything.
Yeah, she kept it for a rainy day, and this was the rainy day, because she gives it to Mystique and Destiny, and it's like, I don't like what you're doing, but I'm, self-preservation and all.
It's funny because, I never even saw that as an option, but it's so brilliant because it's like, take away her mutation and then you're fine, and this timeline is locked in.
Yeah. And she gets to have her, she technically dies.
Yeah, she technically dies is the thing there, so we get the death of Moira X of Moira 10.
Yeah.
So the book never lied. The book was being honest about it.
Exactly, yeah.
While that's going on, Xavier and Magneto fight it out with Nimrod and Omega Sentinel, who reveal themselves to be the true power behind Orchis, and that they've been playing all these racist anti-mutant humans against each other, because the real war was always with mutant and machine.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about Orchis. They kill all the Orchis men there. They go mask off, basically. And say, it's all about the machines. I do love their I think it was Omega Sentinel that said it about like how it's like, you guys use machines, you like erase us, shut us down, turn us off, use us as tools. Did you really not think that we would get sick of that and do something about it?
It's like, well, fuck, when you put it that way, I feel bad for my toast. It's very Toy Story logic, like, and when we kill you, you're going to deserve it. I mean, shit, the things I do to my phone, I drop it, I touch it with cheesy nacho fingers. Yeah, I mean, when it kills me, I'm probably going to deserve it, right? And their fight is like, it's knockdown, drag out, but it's very evenly matched. Xavier and Magneto might be gods amongst mutants, but the machines are quickly catching up to them, mainly because they can keep healing themselves over and over.
Yeah, they can keep reforming, and in Nimrod's case, multiplying.
Yeah, which is a fuck of a thing. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Xavier loses his helmet during the fight, which means, oh god damn it, that means if they don't survive this fight, they're gonna lose all the information they
Yep.
learned about the machines being the ones behind it all.
They're gonna forget about it all, and they kind of end up doing, because Nimrod ends up capturing Charles and tries to negotiate with Eric, who has captured Omega, and Eric ends up trusting Nimrod, which is the worst thing he could do, because Nimrod ends up just killing Charles just cause.
Damn it, the robots have learned dishonesty and sadism. Shit.
They learned to lie. God damn it.
God damn it, I didn't think we were there yet. They learned dishonesty.
Yeah, and so Magneto ends up dying as well, and both of them won't remember a goddamn thing.
Nope, which is crazy, but also, damn, you can't fault them on this because this is all shit they've set up before.
Yep. Yeah, and again, this is all stuff that Charles and all that has sort of brought upon themselves.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way to have your cake and eat it too. Have a climactic battle between like your four most important characters, and then also have it so it won't really carry over.
No, yeah.
I mean, the robots will remember this fight. They won't remember this.
No.
In fact, that'll be interesting when they come back later and be like, don't you know we've killed you once before?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Yes, what? Read my mind and know it to be true. And so, yeah, the big thing, too, is, so Moira is human, and Mystique and Destiny are like, all right, we can have our revenge. We can finally kill her now. But before we do, they really read her the riot act and be like, how did you ever think Krakoa was actually going to work and succeed as a nation, as an experiment, when you so clearly hate mutant kind because you hate yourself and everything you've done has just been you projecting onto the rest of us?
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, that's pretty harsh. And how much does, Moira hate mutant kind? Apparently in one of her futures, she actually created a weapon capable of, getting rid of mutation before it even manifests in people. So, like, the ultimate cure.
Yeah, you cure children before they even knew they were actual mutants. So it's basically stealing their future before it even happened.
Which I'm sure they wouldn't bring that up if that won't end up being important later, especially as someone in my comment section said something that blew my mind. Cure for mutant kind, but how could you get people to take it? Maybe put it in your cutting edge medication.
Yep.
And I'm like, fuck, I didn't even think of that. They've been spiking the miracle meds.
Yep.
With anti-mutant juice. Oh my god. No one even knew. Holy shit. Captain Kun again, the robot's programming is based on Bender. Bite Nimrod's shiny metal ass. And ultimately, Moira is saved by frickin' Doug, of all people.
Yeah, Cypher, because last issue we saw that he, because he'd been feeding Warlock to Krakoa, he ended up getting his own sort of little bat cave, which could listen to everyone on the island without anyone even knowing, and he's been tapped into this whole thing this whole time and knows all what's happening and everything, and he comes in with his big dick swinging around.
And his wife and his island and his robot buddy.
Yeah.
Basically team good guy, essentially, in this story filled with morally gray, morally compromised character. Cypher ends up walking away as the biggest hero of them all.
The best I called him in my review the best X-Men, because he's the only one who's purely following all of these rules that Xavier set down. He was like literally the first person Xavier told about this island and what he wanted it to actually become. And yeah, Doug he wants that. He doesn't want anything, he doesn't want power or anything. He just wants what that island was.
He's the only guy who got more power and more authority too, and never got corrupted by it.
No.
Which is funny, because I talked such mad shit about Cypher for so many years, and Hickman on his way, and I was like, I'm going to make you eat every one of those words, Joel. And
I'm going to make him the best X-Men, yeah.
He made him the best, like, there's no doubt about it anymore. He's the best one, just by being a good dude and staying true to the heroism of the X-Men. Like, I can't let you kill Moira. She's done bad, but if you did, that would be murder, and I can't let you do it.
You'd be breaking the rules, and I would have to report you for that.
Yeah, and you would be keeping frickin' Sabretooth company in the center of the island, and you'd be broken up. I do love that at the end of all of this, Mystique's journey has ultimately been a love story, and they, like, let Cypher have the win, because it's like, well, we just don't want to be torn apart again.
No, yeah.
That was all we ever wanted. If Xavier and Magneto let us be together, none of this would have happened.
Exactly, yeah.
Which, again, the fact that they were so full of themselves and so arrogant that they couldn't see that, that they dug their own grave over and over. Eric Santi again. So Emma waits a full week before they're resurrected. What happened within that week? They were dead. Well, we know exactly what happened in that week. Emma, who is now essentially the Queen of Krakoa now, told the other members of the Quiet Council about Moira and the dark secret on which Krakoa was built.
Yeah, that was kind of one of Cypher's little... I wouldn't say demands, but something that would have... Yeah, that had to happen if he was to get his way. And yeah, so now everyone on the Quiet Council knows, which includes Colossus, who is a spy.
He's a sleeper agent.
Yeah, so the bad guys now know that as well.
So yeah, the evil Russian guys now know about that. It's cool too, because Hickman's time on this book, this X-Men series, it's all been about nationalism and the horrible things that you're willing to excuse because it's your country and your home and your people doing it. This I thought is interesting because Cypher comes in as the guy being like, look, it doesn't matter what our nation was built on, it matters what we do now. We need to do better.
Yep.
We need to share the load on this one. Though they don't share it all the way. It's only the Quiet Council people who know about it. So they just took the dirty little secret and spread it around a bit.
Yeah, now everyone's culpable for it. So if it leaks out, everyone goes down, not just Xavier or Eric.
Which motivates everyone to keep the secret a little harder, too. And also, some characters we really like Kitty Pryde and frickin' Nightcrawler now know about it, too. And they're probably going to be really conflicted about it.
Yeah, not very happy about it.
No, to know all of this. And also to see Xavier and Magneto brought so low, these, founding fathers of this new nation, now kind of diminished and kind of small and at everyone's mercy. They've, lost their stick to shake, and also they've lost their oracle. They were going on pretty much entirely by what Moira was telling them because she had seen all these different lives.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens now, because they're basically flying blind now.
Yep.
So
hey, just like the rest of us.
Yeah, so does that mean is everything just going to start falling apart now because they don't have the cheat codes enabled anymore?
Sure seems that way. You gotta love, too, Hickman as a writer to be so confident in his work and the group that he put together with everyone to say, yep, I've set the table, I've stocked the pantry, this is my ending point, but I've left you 12 other directions you can go into if you want, and I will let all of you do that. Which is super cool as we head into Destiny of X, where it's no Moira holding them down anymore so they can do anything.
Yep.
And maybe Krakoa will succeed. Maybe it will fall under completely different means.
Yep.
But now, more of the mutants are actually running the show now, which is very cool.
And it would be interesting to find out what is also this means for Arrakis and the stuff on Mars and stuff, because they're still kind of antagonistic towards Krakoa a little bit.
Yeah.
So are they going to try and seize power or something?
Could very well be. Well, again, did you read the Duggan X-Men this week?
I did, yes.
Okay, do we want to talk about that? Then we'll go into the next big X-Men story from this week, because there were two. So this issue was all about, hey kids, it's Captain Krakoa.
Yeah, the brand new face of Krakoa and of the X-Men. Yeah.
Even though it totally chaps Scott's ass because the council is telling him to take on this guy. It's I don't want to take on this guy.
Yeah, they keep telling him to put him on the team. Scott tells them that, no, this team is not subservient to the Quiet Council. We don't follow your orders. That is exactly why I'm part of it. Why I formed it and everything.
Island.
Yeah, I don't listen to you guys. But they're like, no, you got to take him on. It'd be good for PR. It'd be good.
We all voted.
Yeah.
We all voted, and it's going to be you. So that's half the story. The other half involves Fei Long, that crazy frickin' rocket scientist who, in no way, is meant to be any actual real-life crazy rocket guy trying to go to space or anything.
Yeah, him and his rockets end up reaching Mars, but he ends up landing on Phobos, the
Yes.
moon of Mars, and proclaiming that in the name of Earth.
Yeah, Earth and also Orchis, because they're backing him as well.
Yep.
Which obviously, pisses off the Erico mutants, who are more warlike and more aggressive to begin with, and they're like, hey, that's our moon. We were going to get to colonizing that eventually. No takesies, backsies.
Yeah, so he ends up getting into a fight with Sunfire and some of the Araco mutants, and he shows that he's kind of got some superpowers of his own, which we've been getting hints at in his journey, where he was like in I think it was issue 4, where he got bombarded with ruby quartz energy, which made me think that maybe he's trying to take the mutants' powers, because ruby quartz was what Cyclops uses in his visors. Yeah. So is he picking and choosing mutants' powers to have for his own?
Seems to be, and he used what was clearly a concussive blast against that guy who was trying to kill him.
Yeah, that big guy with the axe. Yeah.
I liked Fei Long's characterization here, because they send Sunfire to stop him. Sunfire is Japanese, Fei Long is Chinese, and he kind of goes into a rant about our people fought and killed each other forever, and Sunfire's like, did you just get human racist at me for a minute? I'm not used to that anymore. I thought that was very funny. That there's it's not just mutants versus humans. Humans can be shitty to other humans still too.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. They take over the entire moon in a couple days and build a giant, force there.
Yeah, it's some giant. It looks like the Orchis Forge. It's a giant, bunch of rings and stuff, and mirror things and everything.
So that's clearly going to be, some sort of standoff now between the mutants of Erico and Fei Long and Orchis.
Absolutely, yeah.
And again, probably more aliens are going to get involved in that. I think that's what that X-Men Red might potentially be about now, because that's a continuation of that.
Yeah, and also, I'm sure you saw it as well, but it also, I think it was in Inferno as well, where Orchis was collecting the bodies of the mutants that were attacking.
Yeah.
In this issue, they had
Nightcrawler's
one of Nightcrawler's bodies. So again, they're
because they've died many times.
Yeah, probably using his technology to teleport maybe, or
crazy
all this really cool stuff. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going on there.
I do like that idea of that biting them in the ass, where they're like, we probably shouldn't have left our corpses all over the place, huh? Right?
Yeah, we're a little bit nonchalant with that, yeah.
A little arrogant about the whole thing. In fact, it comes back even further, because we jump forward in time, which I was not expecting, because this book doesn't do time jumps all that much. And they're having a candlelight vigil for Cyclops, who has died.
Yeah, and Captain Krakoa's there, and he's now part of the X-Men. But as we learn out, Captain Krakoa is actually Scott Summers, which I called. I knew that was happening. So the idea here is, what we can glean from this, because we don't know fully yet, but the Quiet Council might have had some hand in killing Scott publicly. Maybe they used that whole resurrection protocol to pull up another Scott and kill him publicly.
Yeah,
to hide the resurrection protocols.
Yeah, the idea being is that, too many people are getting too close to the resurrection protocol thing, so they needed a high-profile mutant death, someone to die and to stay dead, so no one starts thinking that, we've defeated death and found a way to bring people back. Even Ben Urich, who was going to print that story, they apparently fucked with his mind, but Cyclops is so pissed about what the Quiet Council did in forcing him to be Captain Krakoa that he might just drop a dime on everyone anyway.
Yeah, he's talking with Ben at the back half of this issue. He's pretending to be a friend of Scott Summers, and trying to leak information and stuff. But he's kind of racked with guilt, because he's Krakoa, all that stuff. But then they're also evil. What do I do?
What's my moral responsibility here is the heroic thing to do, to tattle on all my friends.
But I fucking loved that they went that way. It's that's so fucking Krakoa. It's the evil motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's smart. It's very clear. Again, I was unsure about this book because we basically have the same invasion story over and over. Now we're cooking with gas. Now we're actually going into some interesting directions.
I was intrigued to see what they were going to do with Ben Urich, because I was like, well, they have to like erase his mind. They have to kill him. Do something with him. But I didn't expect him to do nothing with him, but a lot with Scott.
Yeah, and the fact that people like Urich, that he's probably one of people's like favorite supporting characters because of all of his years in Spider-Man and Daredevil and everyone else. He's like Jim Gordon. We love him because he's been around forever.
Yeah.
And we have so many good memories with him. And yeah, you're worried about him because you're right. Where it's like, well, what if he does get too close? What's going to happen to him?
They're going to send Beast and his war crimes to pay a visit to him.
Yeah, as we have seen, X-Force, the mutant secret police, have no problem attacking their enemies.
No.
They're gonna send one of those little, little freaking nesting doll assassins up his pee hole. Yeah, gonna have Beast clog all of his sinks with blue fur. That'll teach you. Gonna put a bunch of whoopee cushions in his place now that Thunderbird is back. Just annoy him is the thing. Just annoy him into submission.
Yeah.
Who sent all these pizzas? Courtesy of Krakow. I didn't order these. Yeah, that's right. We sent you a bunch of pizzas you didn't order. But yeah, so Hickman's time on X-Men might be done, but as we can see, they still clearly have a lot of ideas and a lot of gas left in the tank.
Yeah, it's nothing. It feels like nothing's changed.
Yeah, it really hasn't. I mean, maybe in some little ways, maybe there'll be more stuff like Trial of Magneto, where it's like, ooh, you didn't quite know where you were going with that. You didn't have a roadmap for that one, but fair enough.
Yeah, but like on the most part, it's been pretty good so far.
I mean, yeah, like if that's the one glitch in the system, I think we're still in very good hands.
Yeah.
What else did you want to talk about this week, Matt, that came out?
I had Justice League Incarnate issue 3.
Oh shit! See, I read Superman before getting to this one.
So yeah, the Justice League Incarnate are spread throughout the multiverse. They all got like shot across the multiverse at the end of the last issue when they tried to defeat Darkseid. Flashpoint Batman is in Captain Carrot's world, and he's joined the Zoo crew to beat Feline Forced. And he fucking hates it.
Of course he does.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't
he fucking hates it. Avery Ho is stuck fighting a zombie Blackbeard and teaming up with Captain Wonder and the Amazons.
Oh, that's fun.
And we find out that all the villains of these worlds are like being drawn towards the crack in the multiverse to try and get the power.
Yes.
And we learn that crack in the multiverse is on Earth 44, which is the Nimrod Squad Earth, which is this weird team made up of like... How can I explain what that team... It's like Justice League mixed with like Wildcats mixed with Avengers. It's really 90s, really fucking 90s. And the Crack's there and Captain Carrot's there helping the team fight their villain Annihilator, which kind of looks like a character from Spawn. It kind of looks like the devil from Spawn, like some big monster.
Malbosia.
So Avery, who is fighting Blackbeard, finds that villain was using like a chest of maps and journals to find the crack, and we find out that the maps and journals are literally DC Comics, like like comics of like Justice League Incarnate and Captain Carrot and stuff.
Fucking Morrison idea.
Yeah, so it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. At the end of the last issue, Dr. Multiverse and Calvin Ellis's Superman ended up on some world that kind of looked like Superboy Prime's world.
Yes, I remember.
And it was. They're literally in the real world.
Oh shit, which is Superboy Prime's world.
Yeah, and they have no fucking idea how that happens because they know they're on Earth, I think it's 33, but they don't know how they got there because Earth 33 is covered in a membrane where only ideas can get through.
Again, how Morrison.
Yeah, so they don't have any of their powers or anything, but they can still contact with like Kellex and stuff. So the two know they need to make a comic book for this to like be because of how ideas take shape in this world. If they make a comic book, they'll be able to reach out to their friends for help. So using an idea from Superman 3, the movie Superman 3, because it exists on this world, Calvin is able to make them some money to get an apartment, and they end up writing a comic and meeting with a guy called Aldrich Saxman, who is a DC Comics editor, who actually ends up turning out to be Darkseid, who's been on this world trying to figure out how to get out of this world and to the crack. And it ends up getting really meta, because they end up starting to write this comic. And Aldrich, as the editor, gives them advice, and it's like, hey, on page 27, Darkseid should win. And of course, because he's Darkseid, he turns out to be Darkseid, and Avery comes and fetches them, because she can, through using her speed force as well as Dr. Multiverse's power, can traverse these multiverses. That's fucking amazing. Ends up regrouping with the team, and they need to find out where the rest of the team went, which is Earth 7, which is Thunderer's home. Which is where the House of Heroes crashed when they were attacked by Calabac and Grail.
Yeah, because Orion kind of fucked them over.
Yeah. He kind of took charge and fucked everything over. As we find out, Earth 7 is probably the worst place they can be, because Earth 7 has been taken over by the Gentry and the Empty Hand, which again is something Morrison invented in Multiversity.
Yep.
And we learned that Earth 7 has become their weapon, their Oblivion machine, which is something that they're going to use to just destroy the multiverse. So they end up becoming the actual big bads of the book, and Darkseid ends up having to team with the Justice League Incarnate to fight them, because as we learn, they can't stop these. They can't close the crack in the multiverse. They can only move it to prevent Darkseid from getting it. Because as Dr. Multiverse finds out, Darkseid has to win in order, because if Darkseid wins, the Gentry doesn't win.
Right, because the Gentry is worse.
And it's like the lesser of two evils sort of thing.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. I don't know if you read Suicide Squad this week, but I went through it, because they're also having a multiversal event right now, because it's going to be them versus the Earth 3 guys.
Yeah.
They do some crazy shit that's actually kind of connected to this, because they fight the Retaliators, but it's a different version of the Retaliators with a machine head that's alive.
It's like the ultimate Retaliators.
It's the ultimate Retaliators, and I'm like, that's fucking nuts, Robbie Thompson. What are you going to do next? Well, time for the Suicide Squad to fight their multiversal counterparts, the Thrill Killers, who are the Thunderbolts of the Retaliators universe.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm like, oh my god, and there's like a Deadpool one and a Crossbones one, and I'm like, my god, this is meta on top of meta, oh my god.
That's so cool.
It is, and I'm like, god damn, DC's really milking this multiverse concept for all it's worth, aren't they?
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about Batman this week, too. That also came out. There was a Batman this week.
There was, yeah.
As we're talking about Joshua Williamson. We learn a little bit more about what Lex Luthor has been after with Batman Inc. There's a great scene where he gives like this dark story about this bottle of wine and why it's the most expensive wine in the world, and he invites Bruce to come and drink it, and he just like fucking pours it on the ground.
Just pours it out, yeah, just because he can.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, and he knows Bruce doesn't have the money to pay for it either.
Oh, yeah, he really goes in on him for being poor. He's like, well, that's why I'm doing this, because, the world doesn't have a Superman right now, and you're poor, which means you can't be all the Batman you can be, so I've decided to step on in and try and make the world better my own way.
Yeah, I've had some recent experiences that have changed my mind about certain things.
Very. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good motivation for Lex, honestly.
It is. It's really good, yeah.
He's not quite the mustache twirler, and we also find out that he seemingly wasn't involved with Batman Inc. killing Abyss.
No, he wasn't.
He wants to actually get to the body first so he can do his own autopsy on it, which makes it a race with Bruce himself. He's like, well, I'm going to get it first. I'm going to look at the dead body first.
Yeah, and that ends up being Bruce's downfall, because as we find out, Abyss is alive. Maybe not.
Maybe. Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness with Abyss. Again, did you notice they've gone out of their way not to gender Abyss?
No.
They don't say he or she, which makes me think that there's probably something about that like it is going to actually end up being a woman.
It's going to be that detective.
or something like that, because we haven't seen them together in one place, and like Bruce trusts her, and like if Bruce trusts a woman, that usually means she's evil.
Yeah, or she dies.
Or she dies, or both, evil and dies. That also happens.
Yeah, but Abyss has like some sort of power that allows them to like black out a room, but in a way that like Batman's like different visions in his cowl don't work, and like flashbangs have like no effect. Light can't break through this darkness.
It reminds me a lot of like darkness spells in Dungeons and Dragons. Like, oh no, that's magic darkness. You need special dark vision to be able to see through magical darkness. Which again, maybe they are magical, maybe they're meta, maybe they're not. We don't know. The only thing Abyss says is like, oh, you created me, Batman.
As with every villain Batman faces.
Isn't that always the way? And I'm like, okay, when you say that Batman created you, do you mean that literally or figuratively?
Again, it could be just interpreted in so many different ways. Like, but this could be like someone Batman didn't save. This could be someone Batman rejected from Batman Inc., which is why they targeted Batman Inc., which is probably, what it is.
That seems likely, and it also seems like Abyss genuinely seems surprised that Batman is here right now. Like, oh, I never thought you were going to show up.
Yep.
Though they very clearly much wanted to fake their death, though, and, did they do that to frame up Batman Inc., or did they do it because Luthor asked them to? But no, seemingly not.
No.
So there's a lot of interesting angles here, and I'm like, okay, holy shit, Joshua Williamson, you're actually writing a good mystery now where I'm trying to find clues.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll tie it into these, like, multiverse stuff.
Maybe, or here's my theory. Hey, is it the woman from the wine story? Because that was a really well put together story about wine, and there looked to be a Grim Reaper on the bottle, and Abyss looks like a Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a hell of a thing? Like, oh, you just thought Luthor was telling a story about wine, but he was actually telling the origins of Abyss.
Yeah, and they do make a point of saying that nothing, like, everything Luthor says, like, there is a point to it, which is like why Bruce brought that wine, because he mentioned before their relationship is like a fine wine, and
yes, doesn't mince words.
Yeah.
Everything means something. I also love that like Luthor's been in this small nation for like a couple days, and he's already managed to corrupt the entire police force.
Yeah, he's got the cops under his arms, and he make them all go after Batman and everything, and yeah.
Friggin' Luthor is such a corrupting influence, he doesn't even need to be around long. And just everyone works for him. Ooh, also, nice dichotomy there. We get a flashback with Alfred and Bruce saying, oh, I will embrace the darkness and use it to fight my enemies. And Alfred says, oh, well, I worry about you, Bruce, and, all the enemies you'll find in the darkness, but also I'm worried about the enemies that live in the light. Smash cut to Batman in darkness and Luthor in light wearing a white suit. I see what you did.
Yeah.
I love that shit. Big sucker for that shit. But yeah, it was cool.
It was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. And again, I like that there's a mystery here. I'm interested to see what's going to happen next.
It's an interesting mystery, yeah, because you don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess one Batman book to another. Detective Comics was this week. This was the beginning of the 12-issue Shadows of the Bat storyline.
Yes, and the issue that Mariko Tamaki finally gets to write her own story that isn't subservient to something else.
It really feels that way, doesn't it? After being subservient to Fear State and Future State and everything else. It's like, oh my god, she's actually getting to write a book. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, about time.
Really feels that way. And also plays around with pacing and structure in a way that I was not expecting.
Yeah, the story jumps around a little bit.
It does in like some very cool ways, because obviously, Arkham Tower is the new hotness now. They've set it up in the middle of the city. Unlike the Asylum, they hope that this one, will be state of the art, and they've flown in all these, different doctors and everything that they hope will actually be able to help people and, destigmatize mental illness in a city that is assailed by so many, negative versions of it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's kind of cool, kind of interesting. And then they bring back Nero, the guy who tried to kill Nakano during the Detective Comics Fear State tie-in, and I'm like, holy shit, they remembered that character existed.
Yeah, for an issue, and he's like, hey, I'm better.
I'm all good now.
I'm kind of better.
To which Nakano's like, I don't like that. I wanted the hospital to make me look good, not rehab the guys who tried to kill me.
Again, Nakano is just like the whipping boy of everyone in this book.
he's the worst, but like in a good way now that he's the worst, where he's like, yeah, I got this big hospital together. Oh, to make the city better and cure criminals. No, I wanted someone to take care of my wife because she's depressed, actually. I don't want to do anything. I want them to do it. Like, if I was home more or listened to her, I might be able to help. Instead, I've decided to spend a lot of city money to build a giant, freaking
lot of taxpayer money,
hospital. Yeah. I'm like, what a true politician. And that's going on. The doctor, the new doctor, Dr. Ware, is being really cagey about how exactly he is helping people. He's like, oh, yeah, we got all this brand new therapy. We've come a long way. And, a fancy list of drugs that I'm not going to tell you about.
Yeah. Deb Donovan is quick to point out that, like, all this research is, and methods aren't, like backed or anything. They're not, like, peer-reviewed or she can't find anything about him on, like, his accreditations or anything, and it's just like
he's making it up.
It's a little fucking weird to have this guy who's heading up this mental hospital in Gotham be basically a nobody.
What Craigslist ad did you find this guy from?
Yeah. Again, is this Chris Nakato just like, just hire someone, just
hire the cheapest guy?
Yeah, hire the cheapest. We got to get it done by this date.
Well, I found this phone number in a bathroom stall for a good time called Dr. Ware, so I guess we're going to hire him.
And obviously, and then strangely enough, ever since like the hospital started, like pharmaceutical drugs have been like a big thing on the streets with the party crashers. Running them, so obviously there's like ties to that and all that sort of stuff.
Loved that callback. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, Joker wore the party crashers. That was like in her first arc that like these ex-Joker henchmen are pulling off like big heists now with stolen Wayne Tech gear, and I'm like, oh my god, you brought that back too.
Yeah, they're actually like a proper threat.
Yeah, oh my god, that's so fucking cool. And then I'm like, well, where are they gonna go next? Then they jump forward like a month.
Yeah, they jump forward a month, and the inevitable has happened. And again, Deb Donovan delivers this great line where she's like, "I'm all about mental health, but you can't. You can treat that and everything, but you can't treat evil. And people in Arkham Asylum are fucking evil. And the quicker people realize that, the better. And then smash cut to like a month later, and all hell has broken loose, as predicted."
It's gone full Nakatomi Plaza. And honestly, I applaud that sort of jump because we all knew Arkham Tower was going to get fucky. We all knew it.
Absolutely.
And I love Tamaki just not wasting any time being like, yes, in a month it gets fucky and we're going to jump back and forth and show how we got there.
Yeah, and we see that Dick Grayson and Stephanie Brown are maybe undercover. Yeah, maybe undercover because Dick isn't in his Nightwing costume and he looks to be dressed like a doctor.
Yeah, I saw that too, and Steph looks to be dressed as a patient, which is cool. Also, I love too the villains that took over the hospital aren't Joker, Riddler, and all the regular ones. It's new ones like what is it? That serial killer with the scissors, and Nero and other people. And I'm like, oh, cool. We're actually gonna get new people now.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't think the prison. I think they made a point of saying the prison doesn't have any of those.
Oh, AAA ones.
AAA. It's all like pilot prisoners, which are like ones they're just like running these tests on first before they take up the big guns, I guess.
Which I guess that means all the other villains are in Blackgate, because where else could you put them?
I'm pretty sure they are, yeah.
Yeah, so that's super cool. And they throw Dr. Ware out a fucking window, and I'm like, we barely knew you, Dr. Ware.
Yeah, we know how your fate's going to end. It was going to end like that anyway.
I mean, how many other doctors at Arkham Asylum has it ended?
Yeah, it was gonna be that. He was gonna get his face cut off by someone, something like that.
Again, the self-awareness of this story is great because they're like, look, we've seen 100 stories where Arkham Asylum gets taken over and the heroes have to come in. I like the fresh little twist on it where Batwoman's like, well, normally if this was Arkham Asylum, we would just go in because we know that place like the back of our hands. We don't know this new building, its layout, its security. We are flying blind.
Yeah, Batman's not here to deal with this. It's just us Bat family who's got to deal with this unknown prison that even if Batman was here, what would we be able to really do?
And it's in the center of the city too, so more chances for civilians to get hurt.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good, and it's going to be a long one because it's 12 issues.
12 issues. Is that like one a week or like one a month?
I really hope it's one a week.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to be turning them out quicker, aren't they?
Yeah, I hope it is one a week. I don't want to
Yeah.
wait a whole year to have this story finished.
Finish up, because then again, that would also mean that that's a whole year without Batman in Gotham, which is also something I could see them doing.
Yeah, that's true.
So who knows? I liked it. It's a good, solid setup for a Batman story.
It really is, yeah.
Again, a Batman story minus Batman.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'm about it. And again, like you said, it's nice to feel that Mariko Tamaki finally has the fucking weighted clothing limiters off, and she can go full force now.
Yeah, she's got full reign of the book, and it's fucking great.
Because it was getting sad there for a bit, because it's like, oh, I know you're a good writer, but I can just feel your hands being tied.
Yeah, you have to write this story about fucking Hugh Vile that never fucking matters to anything, and you have to do this story about Mr. Worth and all that bullshit.
I mean, Mr. Worth, I liked in theory.
It was an alright story, but yeah.
It just went on too long, and it didn't really do anything at the end of the day.
No.
All right, what else did you have, Matt? What else did you want to talk about?
I had Dark Knights of Steel issue 3.
Yes, me too. Oh my God, people were comparing this, saying, oh, it's the Game of Thrones meets the DC universe. And I'm like, oh, well, that's not, maybe 1-to-1 true. This one felt very Game of Thrones.
This was the Game of Thrones issue, yeah.
This was the Game of Thrones issue. It starts with Kryptonite falling to Earth, which obviously changes the entire makeup of this conflict that they've been building in the first 2 issues.
Yeah, this meteor falls, and the elves are the first to know about it, because it falls near there. It falls in Magnus Land, which I guess is a neighboring nation to them. But they're the first to see it, thanks to Jimmy Olsen and his telescope.
I love that Jimmy Olsen is a fucking astronomer. It doesn't matter what era, what universe, Jimmy's always going to be looking through a viewfinder.
Yep.
Very fun.
Yeah, they send Bruce and Alfred out to deal with that, to have a look at that, despite Mandawalla demanding they go to war. I like how the elves are portrayed here, where they you could see it as 2 ways. You could see it as they're imbuing very much like the whole Superman thing, where they don't want war, they want to talk it out, all that sort of stuff. But there's also a sort of sinister side where they think, well, we're fucking superhuman gods, like nothing, like war is nothing to us.
Yeah, we don't give a fuck about them all if we wanted.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about war. You can see it as both those ways, which is really cool.
It is. And one of the elves has embraced that ideology to kill them all, and that's Zara, who went from like, oh, I want revenge for what happened to my father, to now I don't think we should have any kings at all.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go murder everyone, and here she ends up murdering the Metal Men.
I fucking loved that. That's so goddamn clever. The Metal Knights, and their suits all look like they're metal.
Yeah, and they're all called their names like gold and lead and everything. So
goddamn clever. I would read the Metal Men Knights of Steel book. Just because I love that shit so much. That's great. You know what Zara's the dragon from that last season of Game of Thrones. I can be anywhere, do anything, and cause maximum damage.
Yeah, she's just going around killing whatever she comes across.
Jefferson goes to Themyscira to talk it out with Queen Hippolyta, almost causes an international incident because he almost takes one step into the Amazon world that he's not supposed to.
Yeah, he almost steps on the land and he's not allowed there. And yeah, they end up meeting on the boat, and it's basically him shoring up his allegiances on the eve of war. And I like John sort of figuring out that there's a bit more to Jefferson than he thought, because as we find out, obviously Diana's going to side with Zala because they're a couple and everything, but he ends up because he's pressuring Hippolyta to join him, he ends up driving a wedge between Hippolyta and Diana and causing Diana to leave to sort of stop war from happening, and in doing so he's gotten rid of that L influence over Hippolyta.
It's a total Tyrion move is what it is.
Absolutely. I definitely thought of Tyrion Lannister when I was reading that.
Big Tyrion energy. And even Constantine's like, are we sure you did the right thing there, Jefferson? He's like, oh, I know I did the right thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't really seem to matter because Zala finds him and ends up fucking killing him.
Again, very Game of Thrones moment where I'm like, well, I thought he was going to make it to the end.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be like the one to end up fighting like Superman at the end there or something.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be the guy. Apparently not. Apparently no one is safe and anyone can die at any moment in this book.
Again, it's a Tom Taylor book.
True enough. Again, Injustice guy fucking mastered that already, didn't he? No one is safe. No one's safe at all. But yeah, so that was nuts. And we're promised in the next issue that Alfred will explain the true secret history of the bastard Prince of Bats and the King of Hell. Yeah,
wouldn't it be like kind of wacky? Like they do something like they've done in Elseworlds before, where like I think of like the Speeding Bullets Elseworlds, where like there is actually no, like, the Batman in that universe isn't Bruce Wayne, it's Clark Kent.
Yeah,
like and that's what they do here, where like the Bruce doesn't actually exist, and the Bruce character in this is the actual Kal-El.
That would be something.
And Prince Kal is the bastard.
A lot of places you could go with that, for sure.
Yeah,
there's a lot of places we could go. You can tell this book has many twists and turns left, judging by this issue.
Yeah, and we're not even quarter way through. It's 12 issues.
No. Yeah, this shit's just getting started.
Yeah.
Shit's wild and shit's just getting started. I'll go really quick through Amazing Spider-Man. I know you said you were a couple behind.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Doc Ock is back now, and he's looking to fuck up the Beyond Corporation because he thinks they've stolen from him.
Yep.
And, he also thinks that, they have something on one of their drives that's going to answer these mysterious questions he's been saddled with ever since his book ended.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. I think it's weird that Ock still cares so much about Parker Industries.
Yeah, they were in that one tie-in with him and May. They were very fast and loose about like what he remembers, but he remembers that, but he doesn't remember other things.
The answer is no one knows what he remembers, what he doesn't. Yeah, they're playing fast and loose with it. I'm just like, dude, Parker Industries was like, how long ago? Get over it, man.
Yeah, just get over it. Again, it's Doc Ock. He can't.
No, fucking move on with it. So, like, Ben gets his date night ruined because he has to go deal with Octopus. And it's funny, too, because, again, him and Janie have this very mature, like, well, you know what we signed up for. I know we wanted to have a nice date night, but I guess I got to go do this because Beyond pays for our splendor, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's got to be a snapping point coming on that because that's happened, like, a couple of times now where, like, their nights have been interrupted or something. There's got to be a moment soon where, like, Jenny just snaps and she's like, nah, fuck this shit.
Well, she's getting snappy too because she's like, so they only care when you can do something for them. They're always calling on you for all of these things. And again, she kind of ends up being a bit of a hypocrite herself. But again, the book is trying to do a commentary on working for an evil company and how much does Ben know? How much does he care to know? Can he change Beyond from the inside, or is that just a pipe dream?
Yeah.
That's the more interesting side of the book there, and he actually defeats Dr. Octopus very easily because Beyond built him a device to turn off his arms. They're like, yeah, they figured it was only a matter of time before I was fighting, Peter's old foes, so they gave me this. I've just been letting you talk this whole time while I turned your arms off. But this is brilliant because Ock is like, oh, I never needed my arms to be dangerous. And you would know that if we've ever fought before, because they never have. Ben fought the Lady Doc Ock. This is his first time ever fighting Otto.
Yeah.
He's like, it's my brain that's actually the really dangerous thing. So he basically takes out his phone and hacks into the security systems of the building and gets a bunch of turret guns to shoot the shit out of Ben.
Nice.
A lot of people had a problem with that. A lot of people were like, oh, Ben got jobbed out. He got beaten so easily. No, he underestimated Ock. He thought the fight was over, and Ock is like, the fight's never over with me.
No, not at all.
It's not over until I'm actually... He didn't get beat. Ock won a good victory. There's a big difference. It showed that Ben is not ready for someone like Ock. And Peter would not have made that mistake because Peter has been fighting Doc his whole life.
Yeah. They don't... He wouldn't misunderestimate him.
No, he wouldn't. Again, because when Ben looks at him, he's just he's like a little fucking pudgy guy with a bowl cut. I got this.
Yeah. I fight like 10 of these guys a week, A
week, yeah. Peter knows how devious he is, and he's gonna keep being a problem unless you knock him the fuck out. And so, they take him back and they start patching him up and everything. And Maxine Danger is being very cagey about a drive's worth of information that Ock stole. because no doubt the information he stole is the stuff that implicates Beyond in Peter's attack and coma.
Yeah. With that company, that Infinity Solutions or whatever the fuck it was called,
So they won't tell him that, and Ben's like, so now I have to go into the fight blind, not even knowing what dark secret I'm protecting.
Nice.
I'm also not a detective, so I don't know where Ock is going to be. I guess I'll just hit the street. But no, Ock just shows up at, like, the front desk. Like, yes, I'd like to see Ben Reilly, please. He just fucking shows up for round 2. And I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty Ock thing to do. I'm just going to show up at your work. So, yeah, it's a little hit and miss. Again, Ock is, like, cooler than he's been in a long time between this and Devil's Reign, even if his motivation seems to be a little all over the damn place.
Yeah, they need to do something to, like, straighten that out.
I like that he's here. I like his new design, which is a lot like his old design. I like that he's kicking ass. I just wish he had reason to do it. So that's that, mostly.
Yeah.
I had one more book. What about you?
I did as well. I had... Where is it? I had Superman, Son of Kal-El, issue 6.
Me too. How about that?
Yeah, so a lot kind of happened this issue.
Sure did. I like Tom Taylor also is sure to like drop a little reference to Nightwing because the comic opens up in Bloodhaven.
Yep.
And we see, some of those post-humans kidnapping a bunch of homeless kids who are probably from the same encampment that Dick is trying to help over in his book.
Yep, loading them into shipping containers to take back to Gamora to be studied and probably turned into post-humans themselves.
They don't give that guy a name. I was calling him Sleep, but they actually proved that that's a pretty good power when you can just force people to go to sleep whenever you want.
Yeah, I just called him the Shadow Man,
Yeah, very creepy, very goth-tastic.
Yeah, and the rest of the issue is Jonathan channeling his mother's investigative journalism skills, with him teaming up with Jay to sort of track down an ambassador.
Yeah, it's a little awkward at first for them because they had their romantic moment in the last issue, and I love John being like, "Oh, I need to get my cape back, before I can go be Superman." And I'm like, "Oh, John, you dog, you pull the same trick I pull. Something. Oh, I left my hat. Hey, can I see you again?" Hey, I'm really hungry. Do you want to get some pizza and maybe tell me your origin story?
We actually get a lot about his origin this issue. Jay's origin, and we learn that his mother was the former president of Gamora before Bendix came in and then spirited her away to probably Gamora and Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah. I mean, so much for our theory that Bendix is his dad. Still could be true, though.
Yeah, it still could happen, yeah.
We didn't hear about his dad. We heard about his mom. Maybe that's to throw us off the scent, tell us about the mom, but he's actually the dad. Like, maybe he didn't know, or maybe he's not ready to tell him that yet.
Yeah.
Captain Kuhn helping us out again. I get the feeling that Janie is going to Max, or Max will order a kill squad on Janie. Potentially, also, don't forget we've got Queen Goblin coming up as well, too, and I'm assuming one or either is going to be the Queen Goblin.
Yeah.
So that's an option. But, so their whole idea is like, well, we need to track down the only lead we have, which is Star Labs, because they tried to fucking kill me at Kent Farm by dropping Fault Line on me, so they've clearly been compromised.
Yeah, they somehow was able to take Fault Line from Star Labs, where she was supposed to be secure and safe.
Yeah, so they work in that, which, again, Jay shows how useful his fucking Kitty Pryde power is to phase through stuff.
Yeah, he phases through to try and get the information out of their security systems, and it's there he runs into Robin, who's basically doing the exact same thing.
Love that everyone had the same idea in this issue, and Damian's like, yeah, my best friend and Super Son teammate, they tried to kill him at home, so obviously I was going to look into this. I'm like, oh, he really cares. How sweet.
Yeah, and then Lois turns up because, her son and family were almost killed, so she wants to find out as well.
Hey, are we all breaking into the same building? Hey, we all got the same idea. Let's carpool next time. That's so funny that they all went in their own different way too, but all met at the same point.
Yeah, for the same reason. Yeah.
Even the line is funny too, where John's like, Jay's like, "Oh, I'm John's friend," and he's like, "I'm his friend." I thought I was his only friend. What do you
he
mean
he doesn't have other friends. What are you talking about?
And how quickly he goes from jealous to like accepting later on when he has like that moment.
Yeah, that world's greatest detective. He knows, he has that inkling.
Which is funny too, because that saves, Tom Taylor from having to write a coming out scene to Damian, to have him be like, no, I know, I get it, I know.
Yeah, I'm cool with it, whatever.
It's nice and it's sweet, because it's like Damien's a little prick a lot of the time, and he could like make a joke or have a problem with it, but he's like, nah, I figured it out. And also too, I feel better now because I'm still your best friend. He's something else to you, so all right, I'm feeling pretty good.
That's all he cares about. It's like, oh, it's that kind of relationship. That means I'm still the best friend. That's good.
Still number one friend. Fuck yeah. I have expected him to be like, oh, I'm seeing someone too. Her name is Flatline, and she murdered me on our first meeting, so it's pretty serious. She's a sidekick to Lord Deathman, one of my dad's old villains. Isn't that crazy? We should double date sometime. And hey, get ready, in what is it, like late January, we're going to be reuniting for a Super Sons one-shot from Tomasi.
Yeah.
So get ready for that, everyone. We're priming the pump for that. And then what happens, Matt?
So they find out that Star Labs is connected from the U.S. government through the Gamoran government through an ambassador.
And a senator, so all levels of corruption.
Yeah, and the ambassador is getting ready to head back to Gamora on that boat that has the kids on it that Steep guy took. And they need to get him before he heads back there so they can make him face justice. So Superman goes after them and faces the Sleep guy. And I like that John immediately knows, okay, I'm not getting close to that guy because he's making me really sleepy. So I'm just going to save these people and leave really quickly.
And I'll take the senator as a consolation prize. I like that too, because I'm sure it's very hard to create new Superman level threats in your book, and the post-humans are cool because even though they probably can't beat Superman in one go, they're able to fuck with him just enough to where it becomes a problem, where it's like, it doesn't matter if you're invulnerable or super strong or bulletproof. Asleep is asleep.
Yeah. They wouldn't be able to hurt him after that, but they just fuck with him and ruin his day and stuff.
Yeah, same with Faultline. I probably can't kill you, but I'll kill everyone around here, which you won't let happen because you're Superman.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch that Taylor has kind of locked into villains who are as much threat to everyone around them.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, and the ambassador lets loose that Jay's mother is still alive on the island.
Ooh.
And we learn that Bendix has been running the Rising, which is something he hinted at because Lex Luthor's getting involved in that.
Yes, they mentioned it in the annual, didn't they?
Yeah, which looks to be just making more post-humans.
I'm guessing flood the market, make it so there's so many post-humans everywhere, Superman will never be able to deal with him.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is a clever Bendix idea. We saw it before when he's like, no, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to turn up your super senses so you can't ignore anything.
Yep.
It's very interesting, and the opposite of Luthor, who's like, we need to kill the Superman. Bendix is like, nah, I just need to keep Superman off my back.
Yeah, I just need to keep him busy.
Yeah, keep him busy. It's a very interesting idea, and again, I'm glad they just didn't recycle Luthor-type villains. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. Good stuff.
It's really good, yeah.
Very interesting book. My review of that goes up tomorrow.
Nice.
So yeah, and I guess that's everything, Matt. I guess we're all caught up finally.
That's everything, yeah.
Boy, what a barn burner of a show this one turned out to be. Thank you, everyone who donated. We got a lot of really good donations, actually, this episode. We're very thankful for that.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Totally. So, yeah, we're back now, everyone. We're here for 2022. More shows coming down the pipeline. We hope you're excited. At the end of the month, we're going to continue to experiment with Retro Hero Video because you all seem to like that. It all seemed to do pretty good numbers. So, that'll be fun.
People seem to really like that bootleg one we did for Christmas.
They did. I was really happy about that because, you had worked so hard on it and everything. And, whenever you do something different, it's always like a roll of the dice. But people ended up really responding to it.
Yeah.
So that's good. So as always, everyone, if you're a patron, you'll be able to listen to this back first before anyone else in both video and audio format over on Patreon. Patrons is always super important to us in our whole operation. We really appreciate it. Obviously, the video version of this will go live Wednesday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as it always does on the channel. Be sure to check that one out. And then the audio version, everywhere that good podcasts are found, completely ad-free, whenever, wherever.
Yeah.
Sometime afterwards.
Sometime, yeah.
Sometime afterwards. Anything else to say, Matt? Any parting words before we let the nice people go?
Not really. I'm obviously getting better, so I'm going to be starting to put out more speaking videos
Nice.
in the next couple of days. I got a lot of reviews banked, so that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, dude, and again, just catching up just before the next week starts, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching and listening and joining us on this Sunday night. That's great. I'm going to be trying to get Capes and Crooks back too. Obviously, with the holiday and other responsibilities, we couldn't quite do our big Christmas episode for charity. We're still doing it for charity. I felt like such a jag-off because the company I was doing it for wrote me. They saw the tweet and they're like, "Oh, thank you, for all your great charity work and getting the word out." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're welcome."
I haven't done it yet, but
I haven't done it yet. You're welcome. Because I fear confrontation, so I'm just gonna say yes and move on. But no, we're gonna fucking do it for real, and we're gonna actually give some money to a good cause and everything. That's what's good about a single parent charity. It's good whenever.
Yeah.
It's good whenever, instead of just like a holiday toy drive where it's like, oh, you're doing a holiday toy drive in January. Hey, the Law & Order Special Victims Unit had a Christmas episode this week, so if it's good enough for Dick Wolf to do late holiday episodes, I can do it too. His name is Dick Wolf. Dick Wolf.
He can do anything.
He can do anything he wants. So thank you everyone for watching and listening, and Matt and I will be back again at next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.
See ya.